here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about the diaspora wars. A lot of people are talking about Pan-Africanism, right? And I've had the last couple of lives we've had talking about, okay, what's wrong? Why didn't Pan-Africanism work? What's going on with Pan-Africanism? And I've allowed the community to really weigh in on their beliefs of Pan-Africanism. We've had people who support it. We've had people who don't support it. And then we've allowed them to speak on why they believe that. I'm not here to police anybody's belief. I'm just here to speak truth to power, and the people will believe what they will believe. Okay, the right people will
You
believe the
describe
right
us
thing.
as
If you do
Why
it
do
one more
you
time, I'm
describe
gonna
us
knock
as
you down.
headers?
If you do
I
it one
don't
more time,
care.
I'm gonna knock you down. Okay.
Do
Stop
not care.
interrupt. Okay.
I
Well, now
don't
you
care.
now
I
you
don't
don't get to
respect
speak for the
you.
rest of the
I
night.
don't respect.
See. All right. So the people will believe what they want to believe, and everybody's not going to make it. Okay. Everybody's not. You can take a horse to the water. You can't make him drink it. All right. So that's the saying. I'm here to take the horse to the water. That's it. I can't make anybody drink the water. Can't do that. Now, hold on. Let me see something. Let me see something. Let me see. I don't know. It's against my better judgment, but I'll let this person up. Don't be a troll, because I knock you down instantly. Now, when I say about the diaspora wars, why is this, it's not really, why is there so much tension? Why is there so much conflict? And I will say it is because the diaspora, not all, because I don't want anybody to say all, but the diaspora has a lack of accountability for their behavior, for their mistreatment, for their disrespect, and lack of appreciation, camaraderie, with Black America. This is why. Okay, the lack of accountability, because when we say, hey, there are certain things that are a problem, there are certain things that you guys are doing that you guys need to stop doing, if they told us no. They told us they didn't feel like they had to do that. Okay. There's been things that the diaspora has been doing towards Black America, and we've been saying for the longest, like, hey, y'all need to ease up on that. Y'all need to stop that. Y'all need to stop, because when we start changing how we operate, y'all gonna feel some type of way. I'm gonna bring up the situation with Michael B. Jordan. I remember when Michael B. Jordan tried to put out that Dravette rum, and the Caribbean as a collective jumped on Michael B. Jordan. I'm talking about, it was okay. If you, I don't know what's going on with your mic. The Caribbean as a collective attacked and drug Michael B. Jordan for filth. Absolutely for filth. You'd think that Michael B. Jordan dissed the Caribbean the way the Caribbean drug Michael B. Jordan. You would really think that. Now they made him change it, and all I said is, okay, if you guys are gonna, if that's how y'all moving, okay then. Now when we start moving like that with you guys, y'all gonna be crying foul. Now we're at this point where the same way you all were behaving, you all are tasting your own medicine, and you calling us xenophobic. All right. And when we have these conversations, and I'm having this conversation, especially for the non-FBAs, because the message needs to get sent out to them, the lack of accountability. Because when we were saying, hey, this is problematic behavior, you guys are being disrespectful, you guys are saying disrespectful things, you guys are undermining our community, and it was, I can do what I want to do. That was the attitude, that they can do whatever they want to do. And we said, okay, well, we're going to respond accordingly. And now that we're responding accordingly, they're saying that we're CIA. They're saying that we're FBI. They're saying that we're white supremacist adjacent. They're saying that we're xenophobic, or we want to be special. And no, every time it's time for the, anytime somebody talks about Pan-Africanism, it's always, we are the problem, that there is no unity. The conversation never gets put on the diaspora and how the diaspora needs to be accountable for their behavior. And this is why the diaspora is in the situation that it's in. And I'm going to have to be honest with that. The diaspora is in the situation that it's in because people from, not everybody, but people from the diaspora refuse to take accountability. Okay, they've come to another country and they've been able to pretty much do what they want to do, disrespect, treat people how they want to treat people. They were able to say that we're not really African. Now we saying we're not African. Now they having a problem with it. Okay, they were telling us we didn't know where we were from. They were calling us slave babies. They were doing all of this type of stuff. They were gatekeeping their community, all of this stuff. Let's be honest. They've been doing that stuff, calling people Akatas and Jareers and saying that they were better and had better culture and was more educated. And this was not just the old school ones. This was some of the first and second generation immigrants who were doing that stuff, who are peddling these things. And now you guys are acting as if you guys were never on that type of page. Instead of taking accountability and saying, you know what, as a diaspora, as a collective of immigrants coming over here to seek refuge in the nation y'all built, we were wrong for how we've been treating you guys. Okay? But you guys aren't going to fix anything, because anytime we say you're wrong, you say, well, y'all called us an African booty scratcher in middle school, so we're even. No, we are not. And the fact that the diaspora cannot take accountability is the reason why you all cannot fix your problems. This is tough love tonight. This is tough love, because even when we talk about the conditions going on in Africa, we understand that you guys are going through colonization. We understand that you guys are being subjugated. But let's be honest. A lot of the reason that you guys are in, or that the diaspora is in the situation that is in, is because of the lack of camaraderie with among the locals. Okay, you can tell that because the government is not making you all have tribal wars. The government is not doing that.
It is.
No,
But can
it's
I
not.
speak real
No, it
quick?
is
It is.
not. No, it is
And I
not.
understand.
The reason why I
One
say
minute,
no,
ma'am,
hold
because
on.
I still
The
haven't
reason why
started
I
the
say
decorum for the
no,
room.
it is not, because y'all have y'all same beefs when you come to America. That's how I know it's not the government, because the
We don't.
American government is not making you all have tribal beefs in America. And you
We
guys
don't.
come to America. Stop it, ma'am. You all come to America with y'all same tribal issues. How y'all
You
don't like,
speaking
stop. You
on
do it one
one
more
group like
time.
you know everybody. Hold on.
No, I'm
Let's
not.
let some.
Okay, that's enough for you. That's enough. See, the tethers don't have no decorum. See? And then when I start saying
That's all.
certain things, it starts hitting the nerve. And then they start coming off their mic. How you know, and they like to do the lack of accountability again, because they always, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government. No, it's not. So, to a degree, the government is a huge problem, but take accountability for what's going on. Everything can't be about that. Everything, you got to take accountability. How are you going to solve any problem if you don't take accountability? You guys are coming over here in America with the same beef that you guys left Africa with. And you guys are saying it's the government. So the government in another continent is making you beef in this continent, in this country. That's how powerful it is. No, that's because y'all think that way. Y'all believe that way. And if you guys don't take accountability and keep on blaming the government for what you guys think and what you guys believe and practice, it won't get fixed. The reason why Black Americans, let me tell y'all something. The reason why foundational Black Americans are sick and tired of y'all is because we've been saying stuff for the longest time. And y'all have been sitting up there dismissing any grievance, dismissing all of our complaints, dismissing all of our issues. When we said, hey, you know what, y'all keep saying, y'all was going around a couple years ago talking about we don't really know where we're from, and we're from Africa, but we don't really know where we are in Africa, and we're the only Black people in the world who really don't know where we're from. We really don't know our names, and we got the last names of slave masters. That's what you guys were saying a few years ago. And now y'all making it seem like we're the problem. Okay? Y'all were saying a few years ago how we don't know who we are or where we're from. Y'all were saying a few years ago that we really didn't have no culture. Okay? That's the problem. And then when we address it, you guys don't say, you know what, we're wrong. When has the diaspora ever said that? You know what? We are wrong. And collectively, we do need to do better. Collectively, we do have internal issues that we need to fix. When does that happen? When does that happen? Because anytime anybody addresses an issue with the diaspora, it's always flipped back on, well, you guys called me an African booty scratcher when I was 13. So 30
But you
years
know
later,
what, Arthur?
that justifies me behaving this way.
That if that's the least they could say about us, they got real issues. They really got real issues. African booty scratcher is far more lenient than an Akata. Just because Akata really has a history behind it. Y'all tell us we're lost. You tell us we're castaways. You tell us we're nothing but slaves and nothing but this one and that one. And Akata seems to fit the mold of all of that. So do y'all really believe, what do y'all even think African booty scratcher is if we were calling ourselves that?
Mm.
And that's horrible. And now I think it's a script, right? Because now even ones who say they came here in their 20s are saying they were called African booty scratcher. Or at work, they were called African booty scratcher.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, y'all? Like, come on. I don't get it.
So that's the issue. Now, if y'all agree or disagree, because I want this to be a mature conversation. I want this and it's gonna be tough love as long as you guys keep it respectful. Okay, so we can say what we need to say, but as long as you guys keep it respectful and TikTok friendly, let's have this conversation. All right. So I think I opened it off well. We got a lot of people in here. Y'all hit that like button.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yep.
had two angry tethers who got kicked out because they didn't have the damn sense it took to just wait their turn. So we're gonna continue. We're gonna wait. So let's get to Sir Stain.
Appreciate you for having me up, Afro. So let's just get down to it. So I am a foundational Black American. I am 26, and I just let me see what else. Yeah, and then I guess the pronouns you said that was optional, so I won't go into that then. But to speak on your point, and I'll be brief because I know there's other people on the panel. Uh, Unfortunately, we have to take a step back to understand that a lot of these people that have came over here have not come over here with a understanding that there's no room for lack of respect. If you don't have respect for the lineage, if you don't have respect for our people, and if you think that demonizing us or really just putting us down will
Mm.
get you brownie points for YT people, I mean, you're already two steps behind, in my opinion. You're already two steps behind, in my opinion. So they act like, oh well, they tell us to be like that. But then again, we've heard stories where we've got some of our people go to visit your countries, and it seems like it's the same thing too there. So with that being said, I'll land my plane and let other
Mm.
people talk.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, let's tell the truth tonight. That's the only way we're gonna fix this problem. Folks is playing games, so we're gonna have to speak some truth to power. Thank you. Let's get to user.
Yes, hello.
How you doing?
Oh, dog, it's not much, man. Not much. Shoot, like I'm 31, FBA. I'm from like the East St. Louis area.
Okay, what's on your mind?
Can you hear me clearly?
You a little low. You're a little low. If you could speak up some, that'd be good. But
Like, how about
after
now?
that, yeah, you good.
Like, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better. Yep.
The only thing that I was gonna say was it's it's a lot of them butthurt and all that stuff. It's a lot of them butthurt, but they'll get over it. It's just it's just we gotta stay on the same energy we always been on, as far as when it comes to our lineage. A lot of these people butt hurt, they already know what it is. They can sit up here and try to culture vote as much as they want, talk all
Mm-hmm.
this bullshit about all this. Oh yeah, like y'all got everything from us. Like no, because if you look at the old census, 90% of us was already here. We didn't come from no fucking slave ships. Oh well, I forgot it's no profanity. We didn't come from that. So like far as with all that stuff, I learned like a lot of this stuff. Like a lot of us is not even from Africa. It don't mean there's no hate or nothing. Like I still got love for people from the Caribbean and Africa. It's no hate or no malice, but they're not us. It's not a bad thing. And always like, and plus not only that, they always been saying that. So like the thing that's like funny to me, I don't know why they upset about this. Like that's what they're trying to copy off of everything that we do. Like it's just weird to me. It's just weird to me that they that upset about it. But like eventually, it's gonna all just blow over. They'll be okay.
Mm. My thing with that is because I feel like that was and thank you for that because you bring up a good subject that I want to address very
I
briefly,
still
and then we're gonna
sound
move on
low.
to the next speaker.
Yeah, I still sound
Um,
low.
you were a little low in the beginning, but you
Dang
fine.
man,
You're
what the
clear.
fuck?
You're good. You're good.
All right.
Yeah, you straight.
My
Um,
dog.
um, now here's the thing. People are reverting back to the conversation of how many slaves were bought here. Were there any slaves bought here from Africa? Are we all indigenous? Are none of us indigenous? All of these things. Okay, they're bringing up all of that stuff, right? Truth be told, let's keep this a 100% buck. The bigger factor and the bigger thing to worry about is our ethnogenesis. Okay, what happened before is important to recognize. It's important to recognize if we were how we were here, okay, how we got here, okay. And the thing is that, to be very honest, because we don't have a window in the past, there's always going to be differences of opinion. It's always going to be that. It is always going to be people who interpret the history differently and people who have different beliefs on that. All right. But what we can all agree on is that no matter how we got here, whether we were here or not, we were all here at a certain point in time and we built the country. That was the ethnogenesis. Whether you were imported here from slave ships or whether you were here before, it was an ethnogenesis. And the thing is that why is that not respected? That's my question. Because that's respected from excuse me, that's respected among the Caribbean. That's respected among the Caribbean. People don't go around and say, well, you're Jamaican, but where are you really from? That doesn't happen. You're Haitian. I mean, but where are you really from though? That doesn't happen. But when we say, oh, oh yeah, I'm from America. You're not really from America. You're really from someplace else. That only happens to us because our ethnogenesis is not respected. Okay, when we say this is our homeland, they be all like, no, this is not your homeland. If a Jamaican says Jamaica is his homeland, they be all like, yep, that makes sense to me. If a Haitian says Haiti is his homeland, they be all like, yep, that makes sense to me. Anywhere in the Caribbean, if they say that's their homeland, they be all like, yep, that makes sense to me. If we say America is our homeland, they be all like, no, no, it's not. No, it's not. And it's only us who they make that argument with. And then when we
Um,
get fed up and don't want to have a conversation with them no more, they say we're divisive and xenophobic.
excuse me, Afro. I don't know if you can hear me clear. I
Oh
just
yeah,
wanted to
much
add
better now.
on.
Much better. I don't know if you're on
Uh,
Bluetooth. That's much better.
yeah. The thing that I was gonna say was it comes like thing I was gonna say was
Hmm.
it comes it comes to the people from the Caribbeans. A lot of them have native got native ancestry as well from the Akawak tribes and the Tainu tribes. So a lot of them have a lot of mixture too. But a lot of them get kind of pushed with the same thing to a certain degree. But a lot of us was already here because they have it documented that 90% of us was already in this landmass. That the
Hmm.
majority of us was already here. So it's definitely documented, but a lot of people choose to ignore that. That's
Mm.
what frustrates me too. So yeah, so I'm hearing what you definitely saying because
Yeah.
if you look at like the old world history, they'll tell you that we were already here. It's,
Yeah.
yeah,
But let's.
that's what they'll tell
I'm
you.
gonna
We was
let
already here. We
let's.
were the first. But yeah, because we were the first. I'm sorry about that. We were the first people that circled the globe. We like were like we were everywhere.
Yeah, let me
I
let
don't
me just let
understand
me
why they
just
get mad
harp
about
on that
that.
real. Let me harp
One
on that
minute,
real
because
quick
we
because
don't want to
there's a
get
lot
off
of
on
people
this.
who want to speak.
Yeah. And I want to say something really fast, Afro. There's 249 people in the chat. Please
Hmm.
start tapping that screen. But Afro, I'm seeing comments already, really fast. So both sides narratives from a bi-ethnic, and I'm not really sure if you're really bi-ethnic.
The
I do
both
have
you
bi-ethnic
said the
children.
both sides. What does that mean?
Yeah, I see it on both sides, that argument. And they say they're by ethnic. I don't want to let that fly, right?
Okay.
For the simple fact that for so many years, the diaspora has actually not stood in allyship with Black Americans. Black Americans are loud for the most part. We're going to voice when we feel that we're being harmed. But and if we're telling the diaspora no in such a manner, it's because we witnessed disrespect throughout the years. Muhammad Ali states the difference between a Negro and an African and the treatment that he faced as a Negro.
Hmm.
Malcolm X tells us details about when he went to Africa and asked for assistance with the Afro Americans, and some nations told him it wasn't their problem. I tell y'all how it's been exposed how the Caribbeans migrated here, bought homes that my elders and my ancestors could not buy from white tea people, and then when they sold those homes, they only sold to their own. They locked us out of home ownership, causing a disparity. They have done things throughout the years to Black Americans, and I gotta be honest, even in New York, some of our elders used to say certain things, but sometimes as children, we don't listen to that. Sometimes mommy's just bugging the day. But for the most part, they would say certain things, but they wouldn't elaborate because I was raised by boomers. And you know what a boomer is like? Do what I say and nothing else. You do what I say. That's it. That's why they trusted us to be latchkey kids, because they know we was going to do what they say.
Mm.
So they didn't have to elaborate, and I couldn't sit in their face. Anyway, I don't like the both sides narrative when I know for a fact it's the disrespect from the diaspora that we're reacting to. Y'all just don't like the way we roast y'all.
Hmm.
Okay?
Both
Whew.
sides,
I'm
both
gonna leave
sides is
that
really
because the
just
other
trying to
comment I don't
water
remember.
down our side. That's really what it is.
Right.
Because they don't have a side to argue against because they're not the victims in the situation. And I want to also add this to what user says. Now, user, I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. I like the fact that I did bring you up, but based off of your name and it just being numbers, I thought you were a troll at first.
Yeah, it's different from
So
yeah, it's different from Twitter, man.
yeah,
It's a
you
Twitter
might
space. I don't
you
really
could
use
easily
it.
change that though. Just put some
Yeah,
name because I thought you were a troll. I wasn't gonna bring you up. I thought you were a troll, but then I'm all
yeah,
like, no, I've seen him before, so I'm gonna
yeah.
take a chance. But I'm glad I did.
I'm
But
gonna change it
just
though.
so
I'm
you
gonna
know,
fix it. It's just I don't
um,
use Twitter like I mean
I
it's not Twitter, but I don't use
mhm,
TikTok like that.
I get
So
it, I get it, I do, I get it. I want to bring this up to people, right?
and hey BX, shoot, what's up?
Yeah, I want to bring this up to people.
Hey.
When people talk about how black people were all around the world. Black people were known to travel the world. Black people were known to be nomads and explore the world. And we can recognize that there were black people all around the world, except when it comes to America. That's the craziest thing. If you said there were black people in America prior to Europeans, they say that's pseudoscience. Now, if you say there were black people in Australia, they'd be like, yep. If there were black people in Asia, yep. Black people in Europe, yep. Black people in America. Oh, that sound made up. I don't know about all that. I don't know if there were black people in America. Now, is America in outer space? Is America like on the moon? Like, how can black people be everywhere else in the world, but America is way too far fetched for that to be believed? Like, explain that to me. Make that make sense. Now, with that being said, we're gonna move on. I appreciate y'all patience and I appreciate y'all being in here. We got a lot of people in here already, so thank you guys very much for that. Let's get to. I think the person was next was King, right? King Kenya, right? BX, if I'm not mistaken.
After I don't remember, I can't
Okay,
lie. About the King or KB one.
we'll just go in him.
It's on me.
Yeah, you go ahead. He didn't unmute himself, so go ahead. You got it.
Oh, I was
I
ready. Sorry.
uh,
Nah, go
well,
ahead then. Go ahead then. You got it. I'll wait.
Okay, thank you for having me, Afro. My ethnicity is African. I'm from Kenya, and
mhm.
I've listened to what you guys are saying. And I'm not one of these immigrants who come here and start backing around, and And I had to agree with you. All these boils down to respect. That's what FBA. Everybody, every Black American I know, it's all about respect. Respect us. That's all. It's like me. I come to your house, right? And you invite me. I sit down. Then I start telling you how to clean, how to cook, how to run your affairs. So as an immigrant, I'm a visitor in your home. I'll come down and sit down and hear what you have to say. So yeah, a lot of immigrants have this thing where they come in and they already think they know everything about Black Americans. And I don't want to wait. I didn't want to take too much of your time, but it's just a respect thing. It boils down to that. And I know there are a lot of people like me, immigrants like me, who feel this, but they are scared to talk about it because they'll get backlash. But you have to speak the truth, and that's what it is.
Yeah, and that's the only way the problem's gonna get solved. That's
Yep,
the only way. You got to
exactly.
speak the truth. Got to speak truth to power.
And I think also it's well known around the world. Black
Hmm.
Americans are the leaders of the melanated people. And when you guys are like, okay, we'll step aside, we'll delineate, and let's see what you guys do, they will lash out of fear because now your leader has stepped aside.
Mm,
So the cover's gone. You have to survive by yourself. And that's why you see them come and be disrespectful and yelling. It's not that it's out of fear. They don't know what to do now.
mm. It's a good way of putting it. It's a good way of
Yep.
putting it. Thank you.
Yep. That's all.
All right, appreciate that. Okay. All right, let's get to KD1.
Brother Afro Lee, peace, God.
Peace, brother. How you doing?
Man, I'm black and highly favored, man. I can't complain. So, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. My family goes back to the Carolinas, Jersey, DC, and Virginia. I'm actually a son of Sally Hemings through my paternal grandmother's side.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now as far as the lack of accountability on the part of the diaspora for their behavior, I'm gonna address something that's kind of adjacent to that, right? And I don't want to keep on harping on it, but it teed me off on the Grits and Eggs podcast when the moment they brought up xenophobia and hatred and all of that. Like it's this weird gaslighting and virtue signaling that folks is doing whenever it comes to us defending our bloodline and defending our lineage and the culture thereof. Like it really makes me think about back when Elijah Muhammad was teaching, and then the white man would always accuse him of teaching hate, but he was teaching the truth. So, and all we doing is speaking, I hate saying our truth, but no, the truth of the situation. It's like, yes, these non-FBA people who we are allegedly supposed to be the same of, we all supposed to
Hmm.
be one big black family. This particular sector over here ain't acting like family. They acting like something else. They acting like colonizer adjacent people, and I tell you this much, right? I say this as a sidebar too. So again, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. So you remember when the Goyim Defense League and the neo Nazis came to that bridge in Lincoln Heights?
Yeah, I don't know if you can say the not the that people, that group of people.
No, we got to
Oh,
say like Schmotzley, Hitler.
okay,
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
but
So
yeah, I remember. I
Tommy
remember. I just
Schmittler.
I got you.
future
Okay, so
references. Yeah,
Yeah.
so can I say Twatsies?
Uh,
Kenny.
yeah, that's not crazy. Schmotzley sound good. The twat. It was just like, huh? But
Okay.
go ahead,
All
Katie.
right.
What?
But anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about.
Hmm.
When the
Yeah.
fools came to the bridge doing what they did, mind you, I'm not from Lincoln Heights, but uh, that type of activity, that's like a bat signal for me. Whenever it's up like that, I'm boots on the ground. I'm hollering at whoever I gotta holler at to do my part. Right. I used to cut hair in a neighborhood that's right next door. It's the same exact zip code, but it's not the same neighborhood, if you will. I used to cut hair right there in this other neighborhood right by there called Lockland. And Lockland is full of African immigrants. Full of African immigrants, bro. And a lot of my clients that would come in, they'd be from Mauritania, Cameroon, Nigeria, like you name it. You know what I'm saying? Like now talking about Pan-Africanism and solidarity and all this stuff. When that shit was jumping off, them cats ain't even coming offer us a bottle of water. Like there was nowhere to be found. There was black people from other neighborhoods all over Cincinnati coming in and bringing us snacks and refreshments because we was out there 24 hours a day, literally holding the block down, warding this beast off. And they was next door. Our African quote unquote brothers and sisters were next door, not doing a damn thing. So, and I'm a former Pan Africanist though, and what really made me step off of Pan Africanism is what I just told you. An example of it is what I just told you. That one sided thing, that one sided thing, I wasn't down with. So when people get to talking about global black unity and global community and all this, it's like, yeah, it sounds beautiful. It sounds beautiful. Like it, the world probably ought to be that way. It probably should, but it's not realistic, especially not at this point. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Then I'm gonna go ahead and land my plane. We got to keep in mind that prior to 6,000 years ago, there was nothing but black people on the planet anyway. You think we was all getting along because it wasn't nothing but black people? You say we all got the same enemy. We all got a common enemy, and the fight against white supremacy should unify us, you would think. But who's kicking more ass in that battle than us?
Good question.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, brother Afro, love you, man. Appreciate everything you doing, man. Keep up the good fight, bro. I'm right here with you. Peace.
Appreciate you. Now, before we get to the next speaker, I want to say something because you mentioned the podcast with Deontay and he brought up Pan-Africanism.
Yeah.
If you guys have seen the whole podcast, do you guys remember when he was all like, yeah, and if you guys were saying a week or two ago that we don't got no culture, don't be pushing that Sulan thing. Now, what's interesting is they will admit that the diaspora does wrong things. They will admit that the diaspora, there are people within the diaspora that says we don't have a culture. We literally have no culture. And the people who are Pan-Africanists, they'll be all like, hey guys, don't say that about Black Americans. But when it comes to us, I'm talking about we get drugged. We get called everything in the book. We get called xenophobic. We get called hateful. We get called jealous, insecure. We get called agents, CIA. We get called everything. It's like, imagine two kids in school going back and forth, okay? And they're fighting, and one kid gets detention. One kid gets suspended or expelled, and another kid gets a firm talking to. They both hit each other, and one person's all like, hey, keep your hands, Billy, just next time, use your words. Don't put your hands on anybody. Tommy, you're suspended for 3 weeks. It's like that all the time. We get called xenophobic, and then when we say, well, they said we didn't have a culture, they look at them with these kitty gloves like, okay, guys, next time, just be a little bit more nice. They get treated coddled. They literally get coddled to the point where we're so fed up with it now. We're so fed up with it that we don't even want to entertain it no more. Yo, the quote unquote Pan Africanists have coddled the diaspora in spite of us, so much so that now the consensus is now a huge rejection of that, because you guys did not enforce them to practice proper behavior. And you did not enforce respect upon them. You didn't enforce that. The only thing that was ever enforced was enforced upon us. We were the only one who were enforced to keep unity for the community. We were the only one who were enforced to keep respect for everybody. We were the only one who were enforced to do anything good for anybody else. They just gotta, hey, you know what? If their problem was ever even acknowledged, it was always a little downplaying, like, hey, you know what? Calling them slave babies is a little rude. Just can you not do that? It's like that. But if we call somebody a tether, they saying we the Klan and blackface. I probably shouldn't even have said that, but I did. That's what they're saying. Okay, so
I
that's
could.
the lack of accountability. This is what I'm talking about. Because they'll sit up
Mhm.
here and tell you that Akata isn't a derogatory slur. They be all like, Akata don't mean nothing bad.
Afro, do you think that it was because of the lack of social media? What I mean by that is if you have a certain age group, like before social media was prevalent, you were listening to your either your college professor, your family even, and your music influences, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so that was my gist to everything, right? So when I came on Facebook and was able to sit in rooms or chats that Africans were in, they started telling me that. Like, you're not African. You don't know your second great parents' name, great grandparents' name. You don't speak the language. You don't eat the food. You know nothing about being African. And a white tea person is more African than you'll ever be. And I was like, wait, they're still European. What are you saying? Actively, we fought against white tea men telling us that African tribes were selling our, Africans, right? We fought against white tea people. This is why I say they don't love Egypt. Because Americans, black Americans, fought harder against white tea people trying to claim a King Tut. We were
Mm.
upset that Elizabeth Taylor was playing Cleopatra. They don't even speak about Egypt today. Right? So, I mean, I'm wondering if it was the lack of social media that we didn't understand. That mindset has been there all that time. And I think our elders, such as Muhammad Ali, with his, with the diner experience, so was Malcolm X when he said that, he went there, they said no. He also said he didn't feel Africans should get reparations, nor Puerto Ricans. Muhammad Ali said we can't wait for the 1,000 good rattlesnakes when 10,000 is coming at you. So our ancestors and our elders had these sayings that we kind of said, oh, that's just one person. It doesn't represent the whole. And I think that's where we messed up at. We didn't pay attention to, or skinfolk is not kinfolk. But do you think that because of the lack of social media, the lack of connectedness that we could have had with them, we didn't realize that it was a disdain and a mindset. I don't believe anybody really told them. They make it seem like when they was coming through customs was saying, "Oh, don't you stay around them black Americans." But it's a mindset that's over there in that continent against us. Do you
Mhm.
think the lack of social media kept us fooled for a long time?
I think it was. I think the lack of social media definitely, I would say, at least allowed us to kind of cope with it better. It allowed us to be in denial. It allowed some of us to be uninformed. It allowed some of us to say, like, the problem is more anecdotal than it is actually culturally or collectively, because we run into something that's cool, and then we run into something that's not cool, but we didn't know collectively how they operated until we were able to really share notes. But now that we're all sharing notes and we all are saying, like, hey man, it seems like everywhere we go we have the same experience with these groups of people. So now we're starting to really kind of acknowledge the problematic behavior. All right. Social media has really exposed, is brought to the light, and it's allowed something that has been ignored or downplayed to be clear now. Now the veil has been lifted. Okay. Is something that before we used to be able to kind of deny, or even to the people who didn't want to deny it, a lot of people didn't know because they didn't know how everybody else acted. But now it's something that, okay, well, now we actually do see. We got receipts now. We got receipts, you guys calling us Akata. We got receipts, you guys saying that we were slave babies and these things. So I do agree that the lack of social media has probably been one of the main reasons why the situation has persisted so long.
Hello, hello. How is everybody doing?
How you
Thank you for
doing?
answering that. For one moment, because there's an order on the panel. I believe Dizimus and then Mozetti goes next. Oh, and then we have Wolfie up here too. We can't forget Wolfie. So yeah, there's an order, Abby. Please
Yeah,
mute up.
I'm gonna just kind of fall back a little and let the speakers go ahead because I know you all want to weigh in on the subject.
All right, so who's next, Afro? You want to go to Wolfie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Wolf.
Being a little biased tonight, but that's okay.
Yeah. I was waiting so patiently. Hey, how everybody doing? You know, great subject. When we talk about this diaspora, I was sitting here thinking when everybody was speaking, and what I was thinking about is 20 years, around 20 years after we was emancipated. Let's go to that 20-year mark, okay? Because I think when it comes to the diaspora, they forget that 20 years after we was emancipated, we was freed. We was inventing stuff, and they was going into their Berlin conference. You understand? Where we was enslaved and became free, they was going into their colonizer to assimilate on their land to someone else's culture. Where we had to create our very own, they had to assimilate to survive on their own land by those 13 countries. The United States was at the Berlin Conference, but we didn't have a say so. We was more focused on this western side of the world, the Latin American, to go conquer them. That's how we got Puerto Rico and, that other stuff. It was during that same period. And we was already successful. You understand? Because we had the slaves to pick cotton, and it's a lot of things that they don't understand around that period of time. Because during that period of time, while we start fighting for our civil rights, we also already had Pan African already existing in the United States. We was also fighting for their independence. It was us who traveled back and forth. It was us who spread the word while we was fighting for our civil rights that they benefit today in 2025. Not one time have they ever came and said, let us who immigrate to the United States fight with the Negro here against their oppressors. But we can name our ancestors throughout history when we just got our independence. You understand? We have people in 1884, Judy Reed, who was the first Black American to have a pattern, to invent something, Black American woman, excuse me, to invent something. She invents something that I have seen Africans in 2025 use, and that is the dough kneader. I have seen Africans use that to, knit their fufu. And they don't even realize that a Black American invented that when they was going through their Berlin conference. Then we have Gregory T. Woods. Did I say his name right? He was also the steam boiler during their Berlin conference time. They constantly question us, what is our culture and who we are. And we can actually show them with pictures and who our ancestors are when they was trying to learn how to assimilate and write and speak like they colonizer. We've been writing in this language for centuries before they even got colonized. So when they question us, we must question them back. We must ask them, who were you before the Berlin Conference? And I land right there.
Afro, please, can I,
We got
I
it. We got.
dislike.
the Caribbean that enters the chat never understood that his mother was a Grenadian until the
Okay.
diaspora attention modern day happened. Because black Americans always knew, right? But it was his black American family that saved him. It was his black American family that raised him. It was his advocacy for black Americans that has kept his memory alive throughout the years. We tore up the streets behind Malcolm. Where was the Caribbean?
Yeah,
Can I
let's.
add this about
Okay, we're
Malcolm?
gonna move.
Yeah.
We're gonna no. We're gonna move on. Let's make sure at least everybody gets a chance to speak before we open like have open dialogue like that. Let's
Yeah,
get
because
to
I'm kind of old Afro, so
Mozetti.
that's a good
Let's
thing.
get to Mozetti.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Wazedi, and I'm a full-blooded African, 100%, right?
Okay, we're from Africa.
I'm from Nigeria.
Okay.
So, first of all, the first question I actually have or want to talk about is why is it that it's always black people doing this? And what I mean by this bickering amongst ourselves. Oh, this, oh, that, this. I rarely see it amongst other races except black people. And I'm not just talking about black Americans or Africa. I'm talking about even Africans do it amongst themselves. You see it in South Africa against other Africans. You see it with black Americans against Africans. You see, why? That's the first question. I need to understand why. Then number two, right? It seems to me that this is just a boogeyman problem, right? It's it's it seems there isn't really an issue here. It's just some of us trying to whip up issues where none exists. So if you can be kind enough to explain to me what exactly is the issue, because if you tell me a few people said certain things about FBAs and foundational Black Americans and stuff, that's not enough reason to generalize and say, oh, the whole of Africans are against Black Americans and all of that, right?
Mhm.
So what exactly is the problem, and
Okay,
why
well
is it?
okay, you asked your question. You asked two questions. I'm gonna give the answer to the first question. Human beings bicker among each other, okay? And the talking point that only black people do that, that is used as a manipulation to say that we should ignore addressing an issue among each other. Okay? Okay, every single group of people, whether they're Asian, whether they're white tea, whether they're Hispanic, all of these people, they go back and forth and they bicker and they fight and they battle each other. It happens all of the time. Only when it comes to black people having because we're not actually fighting or harming each other. We're actually just having a conversation in a dialogue. And people use it's only us. We're the only ones who do that as a manipulation tactic to get us to leave the conversation alone. Okay? We can't leave the conversation alone now. We got to address this because this is a problem, which segues me to the second point. This is a problem. This is a problem. And we're not talking about one or two people. We're talking about a collective behavior. Because if it was only one or two people, collectively, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. If it was only one or two people, it's not. But it's not just one or two people. It's quite a few people who behave this way. And let's be honest, you as a Nigerian person, you just admitted there's a lot of conflict going on in Nigeria. So let's be honest, Nigerian people do have something among the community where they cannot get along with certain people, with a lot of people. There's a problem, and I know this is going to seem as if I'm specifically picking on Nigeria, but I want you to listen to what I have to say because in Africa, there are literal bans for Nigerian people specifically. This is going on in 2025 in Africa. So there is
Yeah.
a problematic element, not of all Nigerians, but that does exist among Nigerians. And anytime we say, hey, let's address this problem, we have the defenders coming in saying, oh, it's not really that big of an issue, we're just making it up, we're exaggerating. No, we can't be exaggerating. Y'all getting banned damn near everywhere you go, everywhere in the world you go there. And I'm not trying to single you guys out, but let's be honest, okay? There is no nation in Africa that is more banned than Nigeria. And I'm not, I swear I'm not trying. I know it seems like I'm beating you up, but I'm speaking truth to power. If you guys are the most banned nation, then it's not like everybody in the world can't be exaggerating. Everybody in the world can't be making it up. Everybody in the world is making it up. Everybody in the world is tripping.
Okay,
Y'all are not a
okay, okay.
problem. It's
Let
everybody
let
else in the world who's saying
let
that
me.
y'all the problem is the problem. Come on.
Okay, okay, okay.
And
Let
this is
me
what I'm
come in
talking
here, right?
about, the lack of accountability.
Yeah, no. When you talk about lack of accountability as regards the people, I understand 100%, right? But then regarding the ban thing, I think we are moving away from the subject matter, right?
No, no, no. I'm
Um,
talking about the
for example,
behavior.
now, yeah,
I'm
okay,
talking
yeah,
about the behavior. So
yeah,
that's not moving away from the subject.
yeah. Let me explain that. Like, if one or two Nigerians go somewhere and commit crime, first of all, you have to consider Nigeria has close to 300 million people. So obviously, we are more prominent in Africa. That's just the fact. I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody. I'm telling you the facts. There are close to 300 million people. We are more prominent in Africa. So even if 0.1% of Nigerians commit crime, it's going to be significant compared to other smaller African countries with, say, 10 million, 30 million, 60 million people. It's fact. I'm not making
Okay.
excuses. It is fact, right? So that's what I want you to understand, first of all. So it's not like, oh, Nigerians are problematic, blah, 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 blah. No, it's just a population issue. Like I said, if 0.1% commit crime, it would be significant, highly significant compared to other smaller countries.
No, no,
Period.
no, no,
That
no,
is
brother.
it.
Because
No, it is. It is. That's
no,
the
no.
fact. I'm
Maybe
not
in
making excuses
Nigeria
for
that would
anybody,
be the
right?
case. Maybe in Nigeria that would be the case. But in America, we're facing the same thing. And you guys are not. Really, you guys do not make up most of the African immigrants. A solid majority like that.
Yeah, but where can you compare the crimes committed by Nigerians to crimes committed by
No, what?
FBA, by
No, here's the
traditional Black
thing. Here,
Americans?
and I brought up Nigeria to say, okay, because we can go back and forth with the numbers all day long. I brought up Nigeria to say for the fact that there are problems that exist among not just Nigerians. It's not exclusive to Nigerians, but I brought up the problem of Nigeria to say that there are issues that go on in the
Yeah,
diaspora. And then
yeah,
if we can actually focus on Nigeria. And the thing is that we consistently have people coming to tell us that it's actually not that big of a deal. It's actually
yeah.
not that big of a problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Let
I'm
me
sorry for
Hold on.
interrupting,
No,
but
no,
let,
no.
let
He's
me
speaking.
okay,
Wait.
my bad.
let
Yep.
me let me okay let me make another reference to something you said just passively, right? You mentioned, oh, because you called Africans African Buddhist scratcher, does that mean we should behave this way? Now, don't just glaze over it
I
like
called the Sakata.
it's
Hold on. Hold on.
it's nothing. It's nothing, right?
Not in your
I have
face.
friends who have been traumatized by bullying when they were younger.
Okay.
I thank God every day I didn't go to elementary school in America. I have friends who are traumatized badly because of the bullying they faced by Black Americans. And you would ask yourself, after years of slavery, why would my own kind start
And
segregating against me,
now
bullying me?
here's the problem,
As
brother.
it,
Here's the problem, or I'm saying, and I'm being very
so okay,
respectful.
yeah.
We're having a
So don't
grown
glaze
man. We're having
over
a
it
grown
like
man
it's
to man
nothing.
conversation.
Yeah,
Let me jump in on this, okay? Let
yeah.
me jump in on this because I don't support the bullying of children. I know children are mean. Children play. I'm gonna be honest. I used to make jokes about people that was too far. It was all in the guise of making jokes. They used to make jokes about me that was kind of too far, and we used to do that. So kids can do that. All right. But let's be very clear, because when you all tell the story about your childhood, it is very one sided. We're not going to sit up here and act like you didn't have African kids calling Black American kids slave babies. We're not going to sit up here and act like African children were not also bullying and also didn't partake in the bullying. We're not going to sit up there and act like there were not Black American kids who were told that we didn't know where we came from. We're not going to sit up there and act like we didn't have Black American kids who were told that we're not real Africans. We are just slaves. We're not going to sit up there and act like Black American children were not also bullied. Every time y'all talk about bullying, y'all make it seem like y'all came in on this kumbaya thing and we just threw sticks and stones at y'all.
Nah,
Stop
nah,
doing
nah.
that.
You're
Okay?
you're you're
Because if we
you're
want
being
to, no,
biased.
no, no, no,
You're
no.
being
Because if
biased.
we
You're
want to talk
biased.
about people being bullied, I can say I fully agree that children should not be bullying other children. But when y'all tell the story, it's this traumatic story about how y'all was hunted down by some FBA kids and y'all didn't do nothing.
But y'all who?
Dude, I'm not. Am I talking to you or am I talking to him? Okay.
I'm a female. I don't.
No. Okay. I couldn't tell that, but
Ma'am,
I'm talking to
please,
him.
ma'am, stay on your mic. Everybody else is on mute.
Okay.
There's other Africans up here
So
who
yeah,
didn't even come off their
and
mic.
yeah,
Please mute
Now,
us.
can I come in?
Christine,
Can
thank
I
you.
respond to that now?
yeah. We're
Now,
gonna have to wrap our
okay, fine.
conversation up, and then because we got people who need to speak.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let me just quickly land the plane, right? Um, Let me say this, right? Why I said why always black people? I said it in comparison to other races. In comparison to other races, not that other races don't pick and all. It's quite frequent and really high with Africans. It shouldn't be so, right? Now, number two, um, let's not come here to act like um, um, oh, Africans are against the FBAs and all. That's not the case. If one or two people have issues with each other, right, let them
Mm-hmm.
resolve
Mm-hmm.
it amicably, right? But that narrative that African Americans and Africans and FBAs, they are against them. I don't believe that, right?
No. Okay.
That's
First
one.
off,
Yeah.
Africa is a whole continent with a lot of different nations, a lot of different countries. Okay, a lot of different tribes and people. All right. Nobody is saying the entire continent is against us. Nobody's saying that. I'm not saying that. I don't believe that. Okay. Nobody is saying all. Nobody is generalizing 100%. But you are saying that as a straw man argument so we can get off of the subject because it is a large enough percentage to be an issue. Nobody is saying it's 100%, but whatever percent it is, it's more than big enough to be an issue and an issue worth addressing. Okay, you keep saying it. Well, one or two people, we wouldn't be having this conversation. There wouldn't be conversations about diaspora wars night and day from Black Americans and Africans and Caribbeans if it was one or two people. It's more than one or two people. It's more than one or two people. Now, what's
Okay.
interesting, hold on, because
Sorry.
it's interesting because when you were talking about African children being traumatized by Black Americans, you made sure you scaled that up. That you scaled that up. Oh, y'all was traumatized by us. But then when we talk about the problems that y'all do, you be all like, well, maybe, yeah, one or two people. Now you're downplaying the problematic behaviors from the diaspora from Africa. But then when y'all want to talk about the quote unquote problematic behaviors that y'all had to deal with from us, y'all traumatized is what you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, but can I ask
Actually, can I
what
No,
talk?
okay, we're
exactly
gonna have
are
to
the
move on. We're gonna
Okay,
have to
okay,
move
fine.
on.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
we're
fine.
gonna
Yeah.
have to move on.
All
We're
right.
gonna have to move on. All right. All right. So let's get to Abby Beloved.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody?
So you are right about that, Nigerians. But I don't understand why isn't it just Nigerians you guys are going after? You're going after the whole of Africans. It's
Maybe you have
fine.
the
Who is
ethnic
going
group.
after Nigeria? I'm not going after Nigerians.
No, I didn't
Right.
say you
And
were
we need
going
her
after
ethnic
it.
group, Afro League. Her
Okay,
ethnic
I'm
group.
Abby. I have Malian ancestry.
Malian. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. So, I was just listening to the conversation you and BX were having, and you and this Mosette. So I'm just trying to bring everything together. You guys do downplay this whole bullying thing, and until you guys can take accountability for that, I don't think we.
Your voice sounds familiar. Is this Africa? Because let
Yes,
me
how
tell
are
you. Okay,
you?
good, good, good. Stay there. You know what y'all downplay? The fact that some African tribes captured my ancestors, and then y'all want to spin the block like we're obligated to be the adoption center of the diaspora. Abby, don't get dragged on this
But am I
stage.
gonna talk
Okay,
though?
so first of all, this is how we know proximity does not make us the same or make us understand people. Black Americans talk in generalities, right? And so here's the thing with me. I always say we can have individual relationships with people, but collectively they ain't for us. So if you're the individual person that is cool and a writer for Black Americans, you know it doesn't apply, so let it fly. Don't sit to yourself up here with some bullshit, Abby. Don't do it today.
But if
You
I
already
can
know how I
talk,
am.
but if I
So
can
you know I'm
talk.
speaking generally to the people who have undermined us. I'm not talking about the one good African that I may have met, and that's still in question. Thank you.
But I understand you
Afro,
guys might not agree
you got
with.
it from here, right? That's
I do. I
Africa.
do.
That's
I know.
Abby. She's been
I
here
get it.
before. Okay.
Yeah, I understand you guys might not agree with what I have to say, but let me just finish, right? So the whole bullying thing, that's you guys don't say it for the YT people, the children. If the children goes up there and call you guys the N-word, right? You guys say, "Oh my goodness, they learn it from home."
Okay, let me tell you. Let me
Hold
tell you
on. Hold
something. I
on.
went to
BX.
an
Let it go. Let
all-white
it shit.
school.
Let her. Give her
Okay.
the rope. Give her
All
the
right.
rope. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. You guys make it a very big deal, like, oh my gosh, this they learned it home. What is in their home? What is in their household? The parents are. I don't blame the kids at all. For me, I got bullied growing up. I grew up in the predominantly black area, and you guys do downplay it and say, "Hey, well, everybody gets bullied, but the bullying is different. The YT's bullying is different. I'm not getting bullied because I have braces. I'm getting bullied because of who I am." But when they come and talk to you guys, well, kids just do it. No. When a YT kid bullies you guys, it's not kids just do it. It's in their home. What's going on
Please
in
wrap
y'all's
it up.
home? Okay, and then you and BX were having a conversation about this feeling has always been there for Africans. No,
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 we
no,
did
no.
not. Don't lie
Oh,
on
you
us
guys.
now.
Oh, okay,
Don't
okay.
put
Well, I
words
got
in our
it.
mouth.
Misunderstanding. Sorry about that. But Africans have never felt any way about you guys until we come and meet you guys and understand that you guys just don't like strangers. You know, I'm not saying it's all of you guys, but the ones who are not really fully exposed, maybe down in the South, do have issues with
Have
Africans
you ever
based on.
lived in the
Now what's
South?
interesting? Okay, hold on. Now, if
I've
we don't
experienced
like strangers,
myself. I've
maybe hold
experienced.
on, Abby. You're gonna have to wrap it up because I can tell you very long winded and you're gonna go on a whole damn monologue. So I'm gonna give you
Mhm.
10 seconds to close so we can respond to what you said.
You just made me lose my train of thought. Okay,
Thank
well,
God.
thank
I
God.
want to address that white tea people and we don't do the XYZ. So I went
Yeah,
to the same school. Hold on. No, I tried to listen to you. So as a high school student, I went to the same school that Jennifer Lopez went to. That was a predominantly white tea school in the Throgs Neck section of the Bronx. Very Italian area, very racist area. And she graduated before I got in there, but that's just to give you an idea, right? If you look at her profile picture, her high school senior picture, you'll get the idea where I went to school. They called me the N word and I chased the B up the block. I got smoke for everybody, Abby. It's just time to address the Africans. And if a Caribbean came in here today, I'd address a Caribbean. I ain't scared to address anybody who is disrespectful to me or my people. The N word held
yeah.
a certain power. So now, ma'am, since you know that, are you finished? Because it's
Now,
time for
let
us
me
to move
address what
on.
she has to say. We don't like strangers. Okay, let's say for the fact that we don't like strangers. Are you Abby, from Africa? Y'all don't like y'all neighbors. Y'all don't like people who are in opposite tribes in the same nation. Y'all got the same nationality, but y'all got different tribes, and y'all be beefing and going at each other with machetes. So you can say at least we better, at least we
Machetes.
get along better with each other. Y'all be sitting up there right next door, right on the next side of the tree, right on the next side of the forest or the village, sitting up there throwing sticks and stones and bazookas at each other. Abby,
But
don't
what
act
does
like
that
we don't.
have to
No, no,
do?
no, no, no. You spoke. You spoke.
That's
Don't act
because
like we
United
don't
States
know
of
what y'all
that's
be getting. No, stop,
Afro
dude.
elites.
Stop it, dude. Stop it, dude. See, when I speak truth to power, folks getting their feelings and want to come off their mic. Don't do that again. That's my last time warning you because you did it before. All right. We don't like other people. We just don't get along. And this is the downplaying that you guys do because anytime, and I want, because there's over 300 people in the audience, anytime they talk about bullying, they never say they have done anything.
We
They have
don't. The
never
children don't
bullied.
call you
Stop it,
guys
Abby.
slaves.
Okay, that's enough from you. That's enough from you. You're gone because you're going to keep doing that because you did that the last time. They never do anything. Bullying is only us. They were only bullied by us. They never said anything. They never done anything. They never bullied anybody ever. And they're just the victims of bullying. Let them tell it. Okay. Let them tell it. Oh, there was things that happened and you don't downplay bullying. I'm not downplaying bullying. I'm not doing that. But I'm saying if we're going to have a talk about bullying, we're not going to have a talk about bullying and all we do is reprimand FBA. All you do is talk about how FBA children were bad. No, no, no. If we're going to have a talk about bullying, we're going to address everybody and what everybody did and what everybody said. But y'all want to have a talk about bullying, and a lot of that is embellished. I'm gonna be very honest with you. But we're gonna have a talk about bullying, and y'all want to regulate the conversation to Black America. Y'all don't care. Hey, have you heard them talk about how white folk bullied them or Hispanics bullied them? Think about that. The only people you hear them complain about bullying them are Black Americans. Really? We're the only people who bullied y'all because we're the only people we hear y'all complain about who bullied y'all. Apparently, everybody else treated y'all nice and friendly and great, like family, except us. We were chasing y'all home with torches and pitchforks, like an angry mob every day after school, just because you're Nigerian. And we let you know it was just because you're Nigerian, too. Oh, sure. And it's crazy because all of y'all have that story. No, it don't matter what state you lived in, where you went to school, how old you were, all of y'all have that story. It's crazy how all of a sudden all of y'all have that story about middle school and high school. That's insane. That's really something, ain't it? Y'all all have the exact story all the way up into adulthood. We had one woman say that you had a nurse call another nurse in a hospital a African booty scratcher. That is crazy to me. It seems like y'all putting a little extra on that, to be honest. It seems that way. Huh? It just seems like a crazy coincidence. So no, and Abby's been on here, and Abby will do that and go back and forth and time waste the whole time. No, nobody is downplaying that, but that does not. Even if we did talk about bullying, that does not justify the behaviors of adults. Because let's be honest, every single immigrant did not go to school here, did not go to high school and middle school here. Explain the ones who came here in their 30s, in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. Explain why they're mad. Explain why they're upset. Okay? If we say the reason why they're upset is because they were bullied when they were kids, explain the one who came here as adults who hate us. Explain the Myron Gaines in them who didn't go to school here. Explain that. So stop with all of that. Well, it's justified because y'all called me an African booty scratcher. We didn't call you anything that everybody else wasn't being called. Let me repeat that. We didn't call y'all anything everybody else wasn't being called. There was no particular nickname specifically for y'all. Everybody was being called that at a point in time. Okay?
Right, but
So
who's Akata
let's stop that.
specifically for? It's specifically for us. Akata, Jareer, and whatever else they got over there, correct?
Yeah, oh
Because
yeah,
I don't hear them
those are
calling
specific for
Jamaicans
us.
Akatas.
They're not calling Haitians Akadas. They ain't calling Bajans Akadas. They ain't calling them Jarias or none of that stuff. And I know Jamaicans personally who say don't associate them with Africa, right? But you ain't getting on them, telling them they got identity crisis. Because truth be known, if it wasn't for El Selassie, I probably know Jamaicans would even acknowledge y'all. There's a video of an African in Jamaica trying to pull a question or something, and the lady said, "Where you from?" She said, "Africa." She said, "No, sir, I don't deal with Africans." All on tape, but you're all over here in our rooms getting on us.
All right, let's get to Denzimas. You got it, bro.
Hello. Don't know how you don't have a headache yet. God bless you and BX. These people. Okay, so to answer the question, this diaspora's lack of accountability for their behavior. Yeah. When you're dealing with sociopaths, I expect nothing less. These people. I've said this once and I've said it before. They've sold us back 500. They sold their people what they were called their people because they think that we're their people, but we're not. 500 years ago, and we're reveling in it. You don't do that type of stuff unless you're a psychopathic person with no empathy. You're no empathy or care for people who look like you. Okay, you sold your own kind to a group of people who should be technically considered aliens, if you ask me. So I don't want to hear nobody talk about how FBAs are xenophobic or we're bad people when their asses now, like I've said before, they reveled in it. They freaking reveled in it. They're in lives right now, Afro, talking about how they would sell us again. You can't do anything with that, bruh. Like, come on, man. And somebody said something. I see. I'm just all over the place because these tethers just got me so messed up with my train of thought. But they're in lives right now talking about how if they could, they would do it again. We won. I don't know what they won, but if somebody can tell me, I would like to know. They won. Okay. And on top of that, you had this other fool in the chat talking about the YT people love us. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? This like, oh my gosh, bro. This is why I'm glad Mr. Trump is deporting them because we can't have these people getting into our mix anymore. We can. And another thing I hope we start doing, I hope that we start getting them out of our politics. I know TBA talked about this, but they come over here, they're hostile towards us, they get into our politics and start trying to ruin our clause for reparations and trying to get engaged in policies that harms us. But I don't want to be too long-winded, but I'm gonna just say this one last thing. There was another story to show you how psychopathic these people are and how we're not them. There was another story in an African continent where you had one of them in their own country literally eating food in front of a bunch of starving children, making fun of them. And these are the people who we're supposed to connect with. If they'll never take responsibility for their actions because they're never going to take responsibility because we were supposed, like I said before, we were supposed to be when we got on them ships or when they sold us out or whatever. They thought that we were going to be gone and lost in time, and not only did we survive, but we're thriving. And it's something that just f's with their ego, and that's it.
The lack of accountability. Let's be honest. This is the conversation you've heard the entire night. Every time they've come up on the mic, with the exception of one, I will give one Kenyan brother. He came up, he was cool, but with the exception of him, it's been y'all picked on me in high school, and it's not our fault, and we didn't do anything wrong. With the exception of one, all of them's been on that. Let's get to Native Sun God.
Hey, what's up? How's it going, host? Hey, panel.
How you doing? How you doing?
Yes, I mean, I've been in this like conversation before. I think I was on a panel, and I've been trying to do like analysis and coming at different angles from it. I mean, when we talk about taking accountability, for me, the bulk of it, and I'm not just saying this because I'm an American. It would come from a lot of people from the African continent. I mean, I just want people to be clear. about how this whole diaspora conversation even started. I don't care how people spin it. I don't care how people try to make it seem. The conversation started from people from Africa coming over and interjecting themselves in Black American conversations. When we talked about specifically having ethnic pride and being proud of being a Black American, you had people from African countries come in and say, hey, center us, talk about us. We want to be included. And I mentioned this earlier, and I do want to say it is a narcissistic tactic from a lot of them, and narcissists don't take accountability. Not saying all Africa. I am primarily speaking to a lot of West African nations. There's a need to center themselves in Black America, and until you can take accountability for how you want to ethnically erase us as Black Americans, and until you want to take accountability for being completely disrespectful for us saying we want to advocate for cultural and ethnic pride, I don't really see where the conversation can go, because I don't know if you choose not to see or if you don't see that you centering yourself in the conversation of Black Americans as ethnic erasure. And this whole conversation around, yeah, you said something when I was in high, like, listen, I'm an LGBT person born in Southwest Philly. Like, you're not going to come at me telling me bullying is something, like, we all went through it. All right. Like, we're grown adults, go to therapy. I don't know what to tell you. Like, someone calling you an African booty scratcher is not the same as you coming over saying that you need to center me in your history. Or I had a conversation with the African person and they said our ancestors were tree ornaments. There's also a bit of a disingenuous, and I'll end with this. There's a bit of disingenuity when we have this conversation, because they always say, "Oh, well, there's just a few, or there's just a few people who say some bad things." So when people conduct research and they take sample sizes and they pull up a poll to put a statistic, if you ever look at a statistic, at the bottom of the statistic, it says this came from a pool of 35,000 or 350,000 people. So if I were to take that and talk about my experience on TikTok and what I've analyzed, I can say over the thousands and hundreds of conversations I've had from people from Africa, 70 or 80% of those conversations have had anti-Black rhetoric. When I go into the comment sections of some African creators and they're saying horrendously anti-Black American comments, and I look at the likes and it's 50,000 likes from people from Africa, that is a data pool that I can use to say, hey, I think this might be a common consensus amongst a lot of people from Africa that they feel this way against Americans. So whenever they say, how do we quantify it? The good thing about social media and having this track record is we can see the numbers and we can see them real time and the amounts of people who feel this way against Black Americans. It's not in our heads. Stop pretending like it's in our heads. And you guys know the conversation you have amongst each other. You don't think we have a culture. You don't think we have it. You think we're refugees in a country we helped build. You don't even think we helped build this country. How do we even start a conversation from there? So I'll just end on that.
Yeah. They honest, and I've been saying this too. They believe, a lot of them do, truly, like deep down in their heart, they believe this country is the white man's country, and we just happen to live here. That this is not our country, and we have no claim or rights to it. This is their country, and we just live in their country. So they don't owe us any type of respect for it. That's a lot, and they will say that too. I'm not making it up. They'll say it. They'll say that, hey, this ain't your country. This is his country. And that's why when we say we fought for you guys to come over here, they be all like, no, it was the white man who allowed me to come over here. This is his land. This belongs to him. They will say that. They will say that for real, and they believe it. A lot of them do.
There's a lady mentioning our white tea slave masters. She got one more time to make a super remark, and us not seeing a request from her to come say it on her with her chest on the panel before I bounce her. Also, there's 362 people in here. We've been up for well over an hour, not understanding why we have less than 60K likes. Please go ahead, tap the screen, press the orange heart. Actually, Wolfie did try to chime in a couple of times. Can we get to her before we move on to, I think the next person would be either Christina or Exit Plan.
Yeah, it'll be Christina, and then delineationist. Then we'll get to exit. I just brought exit plan up, but
Hi
Wolfie, you can
guys.
go ahead. Hold on. We'll
One
we'll let
moment,
Wolfie go
Christina.
ahead real quick because she wants to
Yeah,
address something
she's
real
been
quick.
waiting. Yeah.
When they was talking about culture, and they often act like we don't value education in our culture. And I would like to debunk that for a second. We value the education. We created the education for us to value. When they and the gentleman down there, he was doing numbers, and y'all know I love numbers. Math was my first major, mathematics. So when that made me think. He's from Nigeria. I'm from the United States. And one thing Nigerians love to claim is they have more college degrees than Black Americans. And that is a lie in so many ways. We outnumber them in having higher education by 18.3 million. That is people who graduated with 4 degrees or graduated with a trade or community college. That is over 18.3 million people. And that's the thing, when they look up, it's 27% of Black Americans that have college degrees, that's 4 years degrees. But we never look at how many people have higher education outside of high school, right? Right. And that push our numbers to 18.3. And we know those trades. We have a lot of our Black men and Black women in trades grossing over 6 figures. So, living in the 1% or the higher middle class. So when they say that we don't value education, we lead in this bitch. I'm sorry.
I want to say something real quick. 20 seconds, right? There was one live I did some months ago where now she was, I think she was like Arab, if I'm not mistaken. She was Arab, or she might have been Hispanic. They I'm not 100% sure, right? But regardless, she was an immigrant, and she was talking about, yeah, I'm an immigrant, and I came here when I was a baby, and my parents didn't have any money, and they made it, and now they have thriving businesses, and they get it, and Black Americans make excuses. I said, okay, well, okay, really, what do your parents do? Oh, well, my dad, he owns a business, a successful business. I said, okay, well, what's the business? And then she was like, well, I mean, I'm like, no, go ahead, go ahead. What's the thriving, successful business that your dad owns, that apparently we should be looking up to him because he got it like that? Oh, it's a little corner store. I'm like, a corner store? What's your mom do? Oh, your mom's a nurse? Oh, okay. There's a lot of Black American women who are nurses. What else do they do? Nothing. So I'm all like, around how much do your parents make a year? She was like, well, I mean, together they make over $100,000. I said, that's it? Together? I mean, whoop-de-doo. I mean, cool. That's good for them. Together they make 100, and y'all bragging about that. Y'all think y'all flexing on somebody. I'm all like, yo, anytime we got it, rags to riches, they make it seem like they living in Beverly Hills, and they got a butler that opens the door for them when they walk home. They make it seem like they got to put a code in for the gate to open up or something like that. Like they got a waterfall outside in the front yard. I swear to God, they make it seem like they got that. They make it seem like they got to take an elevator upstairs to their bedroom. Okay. And they got a hot tub in the kitchen. Let them tell it. They got all of that stuff. What do they have? They have a corner store, which is a 7-Eleven. And I asked specifically what that is. He owns a 7-Eleven. Let them tell it. They doing great. They living in a skyscraper. Okay, she took a limo to school today. Let them tell it. These people are not doing that. When you actually analyze what these people are doing, they're not doing better than the average Black American. They're doing average, really. Some are doing slightly above average, but not a lot of them are doing great. Not a lot of them are doing great. They're coming over here really getting middle class. They're making it to middle class, which is cool. And I'm not hating. I'm not knocking that. But that's not no flex. They thinking that we live in like they watch The Wire and think that that's how we live. And they think that as long as they live better than that, they doing better than us. No, we don't live like how you guys think we do on TV. This isn't New Jack City. This isn't The Wire. Okay. Y'all not doing better than nobody else. Anytime they say that, just analyze and watch. They really not doing that good. They really not. Okay. Let's get to
Afro.
Christine. Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, hi
Uh,
guys. I'm sorry I don't sound 100% like a female to you, but anyways, good night. Basically, all I wanted to say was that I'm first generation American, and like I get what American people are saying as far as
One moment. What
any.
country? What
I'm
country?
Trinidad. My
Trinidad.
family is
Okay,
from
thank you.
Trinidad, right?
Thank you.
The West Indies. Yeah. And basically, these lands are separated by water, and we were great nomads, and we
What?
traveled this whole world. I
Mhm.
know that Africans that were in the diaspora or whatever you guys say, you know what I'm saying, as far as that's concerned, I know that they did treacherous things to Americans, and some of us did get over here on, like boats or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I understand your history and I understand your pain. Let me start off by saying that having two cultures made me to understand, like, you know, but you don't get to say like slavery because like Americans were prisoners of war. There's a difference of a prisoner of war.
You're a Trinidadian. You're not an American, right? You're a citizen. Don't talk on our history. Keep it to your island, please. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because some of us do have the history where our ancestors were actually enslaved, aka slaves. And there's some who have prisoners of war. See how that works? So don't come up here and offend over 43 million people because you don't know who got what. Please don't do that. Don't put your mouth on our history. You don't understand shit if you make that statement. Don't do it. Thank you. Anything else you want to contribute? Like, let's talk about Trinidad and the Venezuelans. What are they doing over there to that island?
BX, I don't even know how what she's saying pertains to the topic at hand. I really don't. I don't know how she was going to find some way to tie that there. How does that pertain to the conversation? Whether we were prisoners of war or whether we were enslaved, whatever semantic term you want to use, how does that pertain to the conversation of the lack of respect and the lack of accountability from the diaspora? You can unmute yourself.
One of the issues is that the Caribbean and the Africans don't know how to leave our history alone. You're first generation and you're not of the soil. There's nuances to us. Get it? I don't put my mouth on Trinidadian history, okay? But I can tell you about modern day, and the Venezuelans are over there running amok. Worry about that, ma'am. Not about prisoners of war and who was enslaved. That's not your business. You ain't a black American. You're Trinidadian. Thank you. The new people that's coming into our spaces really don't know how to hold their corner. We had such a relationship with certain American Indians who understood how to respect us as we respected them. But these new people are bringing an energy in that's peeling like a Band-Aid off of some things. And now I don't even want them on my timeline no more. Get it?
Are you going to
Because if
unmute
you're going to
yourself?
keep calling us slave babies and telling us or dictating what you think we are, okay, then we're going to have an issue. Because I respect the American Indians and how they identify. You should even take enough of them Afro. Did I not ask you to host
Yes.
a whole live? I asked you to host a whole live so we could talk to the American Indians and it went well. And we was going to have a part two. But y'all acting like this. I don't even want to deal with y'all.
Okay. We're gonna keep it going. because we might have to just move on past you if you're not gonna mute yourself.
I'm sorry because I was letting BK have the stage. I didn't want to do that.
It's
See
BX.
what I
Please
Address the
don't talk
prompt. I want
about
to hear.
prisoners
I
of
want to hear
war
what you
here.
have to say because you wanted to say something. You've been waiting for a long time. Address the prompt.
Yeah, you said that Nigerians, they come over here with a certain, like, whatever, chip on their shoulder, disrespect for Americans and stuff like that. But what y'all say, oh, we living in a white man country. They think we living in a white man country and we just live here. What do y'all own? What do y'all own? The small hats is taking over like like pilgrims or some shit. And what do y'all own? Y'all don't own nothing. Not a brownstone. Y'all done sold off Grandma Brownstone. This is why people don't have no respect for Black Americans. I can tell you that drug,
Let her go.
that
Let her go.
drug,
Let her
that
go. Give it a
that
rope.
that, that drug, that drug in the 90s and the 80s ate
Still
up
gotta code your
grandma's
words.
homes.
You still gotta
All
code your
those big
words.
brownstones in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
on St. Mark's, on Prospect, on whatever, Willoughby
This
Hart,
is the
whatever.
problem with
Ate up
Let
gentrified
it. Let it
grandma's
melanated
go.
homes.
Let it
crackers.
go.
Listen, y'all mothers and them ate, smoked up grandma's homes. Okay? Y'all don't own nothing. You understand? Y'all don't own nothing. So how you want somebody to come to your country and they tell them at the border, don't fuck with the Americans, this, that, the third. I know because my father told me the story on his way over here. He said, and then he started working with the Americans. He like, oh, these is my boys. They cool. You understand? So it's about unity within ourselves and stuff like that. We got to stop separating. You understand? Yes, they did us dirty. And yes, they owe us. That's why Traore is
There's
saying
no
in
war.
Burkina Faso, y'all
You're not
come down
us.
here
Hold on.
You're
Hold on.
not
and
Hold
we
on.
we.
Let
give
her. Let
y'all
it
a
go.
piece
Let
of
it
this
go.
gold mountain. But y'all don't hear him, though. Y'all don't hear him, no. Y'all want to talk about these con artist ass Nigerians. Nigerians will con you out. You got.
Trinidadians ain't no better, y'all.
You
They ain't no
understand?
better.
Nigerians are
This is
what?
what they do. They hustlers. They will hustle
Trinidadians
the
ain't
shit
no
out of you.
better.
They good with the computers and technology. They kill our kids when technology isn't, when they
Watch your
got a piece of technology
language.
going on, and we don't say nothing. We march for a couple of days. When we got
You're not us, ma'am. You're not us. Stop speaking for
okay,
us. You're
okay,
not
you keep
us.
saying you're not us,
You're
but
not. You're not. Your parents couldn't make nothing pop on that island,
Hold
so
on.
they
Hold
came
on.
over here
BX.
and
Hold on. Hold on.
gentrified Brooklyn.
Now, you're first generation, right? So both your parents are from Trinidad, right? Go. I'm asking you a question. Both your parents are from Trinidad, right? Now you don't want to speak. Now you don't want to speak. Now you don't want to speak.
no, I'm giving you the floor.
No, I'm asking
I
a
said
fucking
I was
question.
born,
Both your parents are
bred,
from
and
fucking
raised
Trinidad,
here.
right?
Because you
I
have
said
two
both
Trinidadian
my
parents. You
parents
ain't black
and both
American,
sides of my
ma'am.
grandparents
You are
are
a
from Trinidad.
gentrifier.
Okay,
And
And
you
we
could not make nothing
now you
pop
and
said
on that
listen,
island, so the
now
we're
you
Venezuelans got it
said
separated
now.
from
now
a
you said
body of
listen,
water.
listen, hold
We
on.
on the west
Hold
and
on.
y'all on the
Stop.
east.
Stop.
That's
Okay,
it.
look, listen. I don't know how old you sound
On the
old as shit.
dilapidated side.
Okay? Maybe you need to take some medicine or something like that. Cuz when I tell you to speak, you don't speak, and then when I'm speaking, you keep speaking. Is your hearing aids on? Turn them on and then turn the volume all the way up. Damn. The
You
hell,
sound
stop.
sassy
Not
as
don't
shit.
speak.
Don't tell me
I'm
about
tired of
being
hearing your
old.
old ass. You putting
A
me to sleep.
masculine and
Okay. Now
aggressive,
hold
ho.
on. Here's the thing. Now she's talking about how first off, notice how, and I wanted her to go ahead and keep on doing this, because notice how she got triggered all on behalf of Nigerians. Nigerians are, I'm not even talking about the Caribbean. That she got triggered off of what I said to a Nigerian man, and she's Trinidadian. Okay. Why is she triggered off of what I said about, and I didn't even disrespect She embellished what I said, really, about the Nigerian dude. But why? Ask why? Because all of them, and this is why I say the diaspora, because it's not just Africa, because the Caribbean, because people like low key want to give the Caribbean a pass, but no, the Caribbean got some bullshit they need to address too, because the Caribbean plays defense for Africa's bullshit. Okay, they do. I didn't even say nothing about Trinidad, and her Trinidadian tether fleeing ass comes up here to run defense for Nigeria, and she wrong as hell, because you don't own shit in Trinidad or Nigeria. Don't none of y'all own anything but machetes, bazookas, and bushmeat. All right, that's the only thing y'all own. Which is why y'all had to come to America. Because if your father was about anything, he wouldn't have came here. If your mother was about anything, she wouldn't have came here. She did this, and I want you guys to understand this, because all of them, when I say all, I don't mean all, but I do mean all. You know what I mean? All of them see themselves as immigrants first. And when I said something about Nigeria, she got offended as an immigrant. Okay? She got offended as an immigrant. Even though I didn't address Trinidad, even though I didn't address the Caribbean, she wanted to run and defend him only because he was an immigrant, not because he was right, not because what I said was wrong, but because he's an immigrant and that triggered her. And this is why I said we got an issue with the diaspora, because every time we address problematic behavior from any one of them, the whole group of them pile up on us and run defense. Because together they see themselves as a team against us. She went off. She was just going off. She was going off because she's triggered. Okay. Oh,
I
we don't
brought
own
Brooke up
anything.
to
We don't
speak for
own
the
anything.
housing
That's
situation.
actually not true. That's actually not true.
Right.
And here's the
But
thing. Here's the thing. We're not the majority in this country. Y'all are. We at very least have a reason for not owning stuff. What is y'all reason? How are y'all 98% of the population and don't own anything? Explain that. We about 13, roughly 13, 14% of the population. You guys are about like 96, 7. And y'all own less than we do in your country. Explain that. Now, if I said it, that's xenophobic. If I said it, that's divisive. That's not pushing Pan-Africanism. Okay.
I brought Brooke up because she's going to speak to the brownstones that the Trinidadian mentioned. Just really quickly, Brooke. Hey,
Hey,
Brooke.
hi, how are you?
You see it, right?
Hey, hi,
How you doing, bro?
everyone. Hi, Evie Wolfie. Hi, Delineation.
Hey, Seymour.
Zenza. Hi, Swole. Hi, Exit. Hi, Omega. And hi, VX. Okay. And hi, everyone in the room and family. So yeah, when she was talking about the brownstones that that a lot of us no longer have, everyone knows that we no longer have those houses. A lot of it is because of deed theft. The way they put exorbitant water bills on you, exorbitant sanitation bills on you, and also just finagle different ways to steal your deeds and everything like that. See, what happened here in New York is we welcomed the Caribbeans because they were black as well. We saw them as, the same as us, back in the day. And it was all good when the deed theft was happening to us. Everyone allowed it. No one said anything. We were the only ones fighting against it. But now, it is now. So what white supremacy has done is that when we allow the Caribbeans in, the Caribbeans have now saw a camaraderie with the Hispanics. And now it's time for them to lose the houses because they are making room for the Hispanics, the illegals that they got here. So now they're going through the deed thefts. If you could look at a lot of our news that's happening right now, there's an old man right now because of it wasn't even an absorbent amount. The water bill, it was like a $600 water bill, and they was able to take his house right from underneath him because of a $600 water bill. So the things that was happening to us back in the day that made us lose their brownstones, they are now losing those same houses that she's making fun of us for. What else did she mention? That's all I could think of right now. I don't want to just keep
Smuggling,
rambling on.
the schmugs, and those foreigners became the
Oh, yes, the
connect way to
schmugs.
bring in the schmugs. See how that worked? When they was
Oh,
pushing it
honey.
into our communities, who were the ones? We know Jamaica had the poppy thing going on. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, we don't even have to talk about here. Let's talk about where they're from. The schmugs is coming in on their island, and they the ones that got control of their own ports. They the one got control of their beaches. So the schmugs is like, look, I have some really close friends from Trinidad, and that's how I know what's going on over there. The shootings and the killing. Pardon. I forgot where I was. The things that are the violence that is happening on that island right now. Right now, she has no room in her mouth to fix her mouth to speak on us or anything that happened to us here. Not only that, but they are being overrun by buffer classes, and they don't even know that there is a buffer class. Their Indo population is running amok over there because they allow their buffer classes to run crazy. So, it cracks me up. People who are unable to see the big plank in their eye have the nerve to talk about us. You got your buffer classes running amok. They're stealing all your resources, all your oil, all your gold, all your everything. And the black people in Trinidad is not doing the same as the Indo population, the Indians on the island. And I dare her to disagree with that. They're taking over their elections. They're running everything from top to bottom. And now they are allowing the Venezuelans to come in and whoop on the black people. And the men are so blind, they're mating with them. So now you got a whole bunch. So now they're whitening your population. All right, I'll stop there.
thank you, Brooke.
Appreciate you. Always. Thank
You're
you,
very
Jay.
Afro.
welcome. Thank you.
Let's hold on. I'll let you go ahead, but let me get to delineation this real quick. He's been waiting a minute patiently.
All right, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm not a late night guy, but I just want to pop up because of the topic here. Good topic as always, Afro. Salute to UBX.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we can get right to the business, right? Diaspora lack accountability for their behavior. Remember back in the day, Afro. Just walk with me for a second. Remember back in the day, the South African guy that had those noose necklaces, if you get what I mean. And we told him that we didn't like that. These are the same people that we bailed out when they were doing apartheid. See, I was one of those babies that wrote those letters. I'm old enough. I was one of those babies during that time frame in the 90s that was writing those letters to the president saying we don't support that. And to see that these guys will back the people in the Middle East is for reparations, but not us here in the soil in the United States. That's a problem. That's the lack of accountability that we're talking about from a geopolitical standpoint. I could also point to other things where everywhere these guys go, it doesn't matter what side of the country that they're on the continent of Africa, no matter where they go around the globe, these guys got bans left and right. They bring in smugs into the community. They bring in all types of criminal behavior into the community, and they always blame it on the melanated people that are indigenous here to the countries that they're from. They do. It's a common trend that I've been looking at. And it's gotten to the point that they have so much of a lack of accountability where they don't even build their nation to the point that they depend on our nation as if it's a boat raft. This is what we're talking about when it comes to accountability and the lack of the accountability that we're talking about. That is very dangerous. From them unaliving themselves, but they want to come over here and talk about black on black crime. This is the nonsense and the buffoonery that I hear from these guys. But one of the things I do want to talk about is this name calling thing. I have a theory. I'm gonna you guys heard it first live here on Afro's channel. The thing is they're trying to say that they're being treated, that black people are the ones who are being the racist ones. That's their goal. Because they're doing the dirty work hands of white tea supremacy. Because that's the one thing that white tea supremacy has not been able to stick on our community. But if you get somebody that's melanated, you get somebody that looks like us, who are saying these things, then it will be believed to be true. And then it'll be amplified by the dominant culture and the dominant society. And this theory is a part of what that I talk about next, Negro envy syndrome. These individuals come over here and bring this behavior over to our community with the sole purpose of being the right hand and the left hand to white tea supremacy. They don't want to support us. They don't want to fight along with us. This is why you heard this woman right on this stage saying that I asked if she marched with King and she protested with us. The only reason why, if she did protest, is because she was trying to get unearned benefits. That's the lack of accountability that we're talking about here. Them going into political offices and seats and not delivering us tangibles, but looking out for their community. The lack of accountability. So I just want to leave it on this great topic. Great topic. Because their lack of accountability is only exposing that they are the extension of white tea supremacy. They are the other side. And I'll go so far to say is that they're BS, as in black supremacy. And that's something that we might have to talk on to in the guise of that they're doing the work of the white tea, because they take on both sides. Like Neely Fuller said, they take on both sides of white tea supremacy. You kind of see where I'm coming at with this. You have a good night, and I'm waiting for your feedback on this too, player, because it's a lot going on with these guys that we don't know about. A lot more.
The conversation is deep. It definitely is deep. I veer away from saying things like black supremacy. I think we should be very clear and concise when we talk about just the system of supremacy, because there's a modern day effort to make it seem like there can be multiple different versions of supremacy that exist in this world. There's really only one supremacy that exists currently in this world. And everything else is working alongside that, you know. So I think we should be careful not to allow certain things to create confusion of that, you know. As far as their participation, let's be honest, the fact that we can hold each other accountable is the reason why we can progress as a group of people. Because I want us to understand the power of accountability. Holding yourself accountable is the first step of learning from past mistakes, learning from the mistakes that you've made. And it also creates a mechanism, and it creates a order and a standard with yourself and with the community, with how you hold yourself and how you hold the community. The fact that we hold ourselves accountable means that we hold ourselves to a certain standard and we hold the community to a certain standard. So if we see somebody who is acting counter to the standard that we hold the community to, then we ostracize that person. Give you an example. I said on Twitter a month or so ago, we got words like Sambo, bootleg, all of these words that we use to identify people who are off code. Black American, foundational Black Americans, we have all of these terms to identify people who are off code. What do Africans use to identify people who work alongside the colonizer? What do Caribbean, and I just asked that question, what do Caribbean people use to identify people who work alongside the colonizer? Because they should have thousands of different terms. There's thousands of different languages. They should have thousands of different terms, and people are like, "Oh, what do you mean Africa? Africa is a continent." So they played that little game. And I'm all like, you see, because you guys don't have a culture of self-correction. That's what accountability is. Accountability is self-correction. And if you have a culture that refuses to have the mechanism, the necessary mechanism, of self-correction, then you're going to destroy yourself. If you do not improve, you will destroy yourself. You will be easy to be manipulated and victimized, which is why they can come over here and the dominant society can weaponize them against us because they have no sense of self-correction. And this isn't to say every single last one of them do not as an individual, but culturally it is not there. And it is time to tell the truth about that. Not no one or two people. I'm talking about collectively. It is not there. And until you guys actually accept that and then say we need to do the work to change, it will continue to exist. The problem will continue to exist. Downplay it all you want to your own demise. But it is there, and it will grow, and it will destroy you. But I'm not gonna allow it to destroy us. That's all I'm saying. I can't make you solve your own problem. I can call it out. I can bring a horse to the water, can't make him drink it. But I'm not going to starve to death. I'm not going to thirst to death. I'm going to drink this water. That's all I got to say. That's all there is to it. I want to get to exit plan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh,
Oh, damn.
this VA parents
You
do
glitching,
not.
brother. You
VA parents don't raise their kids.
wait, hold on. What happened? Oh, okay.
Did you hear that part? That's
No,
what I was saying. Like,
I heard
we
the
don't
very
raise our
last
kids
part.
to
Yeah, I heard
bully
you say
any
FBA
people.
parents don't raise their kids. That's what I heard. So, okay, FBA,
No,
okay,
no.
keep going, keep
I said
going.
we don't raise our kids to bully. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we don't raise
that's
our
true. We
kids to
don't. We
bully
don't.
other groups. That's not our style. And so if that happens, that's the individual kid that's doing that on his own. He's just being bad. But that's not something we learn from our parents. So when we see a YT kid doing that, we know he learned that from his parents. That's the problem, right? Same thing with other groups who don't like us. They learn it from their parents. We teach our kids to treat everybody equally, especially other black groups. We teach them to embrace other black. We don't teach them because they're African. But if that happens, that's an individual thing. That kid is deciding to be bad on his own and to go against his parents. And that does happen in our community.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man, but kids can do too much. Kids can be mad at other kids and say something nasty. Kids can want to impress somebody or something like that. Kids can do, and it's not something that's good. It's not something that should be accepted. But this is the situation. But it's not no homegrown thing where the children are learning to have disdain for African kids in at the house. No, that doesn't come from inside the house. It don't. No, it don't. Do you know let me tell y'all something. As foundational Black Americans, we raise our, I don't have any kids, but I know how we raise our kids culturally. FBA parents do not like hearing that they kid bullied anybody. I'm trying, I swear to God. Let the teacher call your parents and say that you were being a bully to somebody. Your parents are going to flip out. We all know culturally, our parents do not tolerate the teacher calling us being all like, sir, ma'am, your son here, he's been picking on some of the students and he's been being a bully. Man, man, come on. Man, there's too many people in the chat room agree. Our parents was not tolerating none of that. Imagine the teacher called, yeah, your kid seems like he keeps picking on the African kids and he keeps calling them names and calling them slurs, and man, you'd be scared to come home after the teacher or the principal called your parents and told them that. Don't let
You
you,
know what they
man,
would
we do
say?
not tolerate that. That's not how we do.
Right. I sent you to school to learn not to be a bully, not to bully people. I sent you to learn. Is that learning? You know. Yeah.
Man, talking about, yeah, you all of that book, man. If we did act up in school, we had to keep it on the low. We had to keep that on the low because we knew for a fact our parents did not play. Okay. We come from parents who don't want to be in bed. They don't want to come up to the school. Our parents did not like coming up to the school when it wasn't necessary. Lord, man, we're going to, let me not digress too much. Okay. Because I'm going to get into a whole nother thing. Our parents didn't like coming up to the school when it wasn't necessary. Talking to the teachers about your, man, let the teachers say, you've been acting up in school. That, man, it was it. That, man, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. They would act, man, they would act like you FBI's most wanted when you get back to that crib. When you get back to the house, it's, man, I'm trying to tell you. They make it seem like you tried to blow the school up or something like that. Don't, man, our parents did not play. Our parents did not play like that. Our parents did not play like that. Okay? So this is how I know, like, no, y'all was not being chased home with no pitchforks and torches. Like, that was not happening. First off, Black American kids was just cool with everybody, honestly. We was cool with anybody and everybody who was cool with us. Okay? We was cool with everybody who was cool with us. We wanted to have all the friends. Okay? We wanted to have some African friends and some Jamaican friends and some Caribbean friends. We wanted to have everybody to be the friend. We want to be like, oh, that's cool. I got a Jamaican friend. Oh, that's cool. My friend's from Africa. We wanted to have that. Come on. Now, of course, when you get older, you know, the kind of the fantasy fades away. You know, when you get older, okay, the fantasy fades away. Then it's all like, nah, I'm gonna be honest. Then you realize culturally, you kind of just gravitate more to your own culture. But little kids, they want to play with everybody. They want to play with everybody. That's true. It was their parents who told them not to play with us. It was their parents who told them not to bring us home. It was their parents who told them to stay away from us. It was not our parents who said that about them. It was the other way around. And the thing is that we just reciprocated the energy. We just peep game and was all like, okay, well, if you don't want to be around me, I don't want to be around you. And we just kept it pushing like that. If you gonna say something to me, I'm gonna say something to you. If you don't want to say nothing to me, I ain't gonna say nothing to you. That's just how it was. That's just how it was. But that was because y'all parents were saying, don't play with the Akata. Y'all parents were saying, don't talk to them. Don't bring them home. They can't be your friends. That was y'all parents who were saying that. Let's tell the truth. let's get to I am Monica.
I'm here. Yeah. Um. Well, she dropped. I was gonna get on her when she said that Black Americans we always on the crack. We on the candy rock. But I'm like, you're Trinidadian, baby girl. Last time I heard, Nicki Minaj daddy was smoking was up there sucking the glass.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, like come
That's a
on now.
huge projection. What she was doing.
Yeah, but anyway, side note anyway, she's saying like, oh, we don't own land, but there's a lot of Black Americans that actually own land. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm one of them. My great grand, I said I can go history. Like my great great grandfather left South Carolina, went west, ended up in Arkansas, bought all this land, and his descendants got land. Same with my great grandfather. We got land. We actually got minerals underneath that land. Heck, I had to just not that long ago. I had to fill out my mama's check for her to pay the taxes on the land. So, boom. Um, anywho, but I was on here when they always go. Here's some tea. I was on Threads, and there is a whole big diaspora war between the British Caribbeans and the British Africans. And come to find out from a British Caribbean, they also using that narrative that they got bullied. That the British Africans got bullied by the British Caribbeans. And I responded. I said, let me guess. They up there saying that you call them African booty scratchers? She said yes. I said they do it here in the States. So pretty much it sounds like to me somebody lying. And it ain't us.
Mm-hmm.
And once you really think about it, majority of Black Americans live in the South and the Midwest. And I was on a live earlier this year, and a lot of Black Americans live in the South, live in Midwestern cities, and Southern cities. And we went through our memory Rolodex, like we was like really thinking, like we was going back to kindergarten, everything. We was like really thinking about our Rolodex. I was like, I really haven't had any interactions with Africans outside of the braiding shop and until I went to college. So where is this whole y'all got bullied from? Like like real talk. I'm like, because I said the only time I interacted with Africans was teachers. And I don't think we telling teacher we wasn't calling our teachers African booty scratchers. And the only reason why I say that because with me from kindergarten through eighth, I went to a French magnet school. So I had those teachers from French speaking African countries. We ain't call them no African booty scratchers. And then what you said, Afro, about our parents, oh no, our parents do not like to come up to the schools, especially in the middle of their work shift.
Oh Lord.
You would get the whole, I had to leave my work because you want to act a fool in school. You supposed to be in school learning. And don't let it where your principal and your teacher are YT. Now it's going to turn into, now you got these YTs up in here thinking I ain't raised your ass, thinking I ain't raised you right. You supposed to be in school learning, but you acting a fool. Now I have to leave work. Oh, you get it when we get home.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell you, if the teacher threatened to call your parents, you
I was
get to
crying.
negotiating. You be like, sir, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You just get to apologizing for everything. If they
yeah.
even threaten, what, I'm gonna call your mother. Hold on, wait. You don't got to do that. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We don't need to
I'm
go there.
sorry
I'm
that
gonna
I
sit
raised my
down.
hand
I'm
to go to
sorry. I didn't mean to.
the
I didn't mean to. You get to apologizing
I sneeze
instantly.
like thousands of times.
Lord.
No,
yeah. And so I was just like,
I
where's
just
this
want
coming
to tell
from?
you that
Because I'm sorry. I really,
really, never. Wow,
I was like,
that's crazy.
I really haven't
I
had
would
too many.
never
I said,
call.
I never had
Fuck.
interactions We're
You may
Africans
not know
until, like,
Singapore.
seriously, until I went to Lincoln University.
Mm,
So I'm like, no, no, like, that's I'm like, huh? We was what doing that? When? Huh? So we was
mm.
calling y'all African booty scratchers. I mean, I said, but I was called that myself. I mean, we was calling each other that. I think we was calling each other that, like Black Americans was saying that to each other, and then they felt some type of way and called it stray because, ironically, they're Africans.
Yeah.
But
They really just censored themselves, honestly.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
really what it is. They just censored themselves because it just got the word African in there. So they all like, oh, it's about me. No, no, you
No,
just,
the
it's
insult
really
was you
not though.
scratched your booty because that means that you was like that was the true insult behind African booty scratcher. You know, the insult behind it was really that you a booty scratcher. That means you're dirty because when you're dirty, your booty itch. But I digress. But yeah, that's one thing I had to say. Like I had to mention the comment that I read on Threads when they was like, Caribbean British woman was like, they was kind of getting upset because it was like, oh, you're looping all us Black Brits into one, and here in Britain we don't even mess with the Africans in Britain. The Caribbean Brits don't mess with the African Brits, and they go around saying that we was bullying them. And then when I responded, I said, let me guess, African booty scratcher. She said, yep. I was like, oh, so I guess that's just a running thing because they do it here in the States.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I said I'm about to go in every FBA group, every FBA live. I'm gonna mention that thread that they up here they going with some kind of narrative to try to make themselves look like the good guys.
Yeah, we're the only ones who say anything disparaging about them. As the African booty scratcher thing, Lord, I mean, that's just, it's gotten so much to the point where it's like, because when you actually think about it, that's not like a slur, really. It's really not. Besides the word African, it's really not. It's not like
No,
it's not like you're mocking any plight of theirs. It's not like you're mocking a culture. It's not like you're mocking their history. It sounds silly, really.
yeah, like I said, the insult was you were a booty scratcher. Like we was all taught when we was little, we was African Americans. African Americans. Like when I was a kid in the 90s, there was that huge Black Power, HBCU, Pan African movement that was going on. Like you seen anything HBCU or African theme in our TV shows in the 90s.
Hmm.
Like I'll remember that as a little girl.
Mm.
So we wasn't offended with the African part. It was the fact that he was a booty scratcher. Like, you be like, I ain't no African booty scratcher. Like, I'm clean. Because the point was the booty scratcher means that he was dirty.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And here they go doing the most, as always, as always. But
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, make sure I get to everybody. Omega, my brother, what's going on, man?
B1, bro. You just caught me in the middle of eating. Um,
My fault. We can
you
circle
good,
back to
man.
you. We can circle back to you.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. That'll work.
All right, all right, all right. Let's get to Phoebe.
Yeah, I wanted to say what I am was saying. They just are censoring themselves because people in their 40s and 50s, maybe 60s, I don't remember going to school with a lot of Africans. And we were calling ourselves that and calling each other that. And that came from Boys in the Hood. So we watched the movie and we're saying it at school. It wasn't like we were saying it to other Africans because even in the movie, there was no Africans in the movie. It was just like calling someone stinky or something like that. You know what I mean? And the fact that we grew up wearing cross color and having your dashiki on and your, pro African and stuff like that. nobody was talking about Africans like that. So, like you said, I don't know where this is coming from. They're centering themselves, and because the word African is it, and it sounds offensive to them because that's not their lingo. Like you said, they don't even have words to call out people like we do, like Sambo or whatever, whatever. But they're holding on to this word because it has the word African in it. But it was never against them. So it's a lie. And they do center themselves and make themselves, I hear a lot of them saying, it's not about you. Black Americans think they're the main character, but they want to be the main character because our culture doesn't center around Africa. So I think that's the problem. You see other Caribbean cultures and people, they're like, oh yeah, Africa. Their culture aligns with African culture. And so then they see us, our culture doesn't align with it at all. So they want to be the main character and can't understand that culturally we don't do the same things. And I just wanted to say it came from Boys in the Hood. It didn't come from people seeing Africans on the bus, calling them African booty scratchers. And in high school, I remember people calling people that, and there was no Africans around. So I just wanted to put that on the table.
Thank you for that. Because it was a joke. It was a joke, and kids made a lot. When they see something they think is funny in the movie, they're gonna say it. It was not the only thing. People gonna say jokes about that, and it's not no thing that was being said. It came from Boys in the Hood. It was not no thing that was being said for decades in and out. It's not like every single school was doing that. It's not like every single kid was doing that. They were not the only people being called that. They made it seem like that was an ongoing thing for 20 years up until today. Like, no, it was not. It was a little phase where people were mimicking a joke or a term from a comedy, from it wasn't a comedy movie, but from a movie.
Right, right. That was it. And the same way people, what my name, bye Felicia. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So they're just trying to be the on center stage, and it's crazy. I'll
Yeah,
drop down.
yeah. Thank you for that, for adding context to that. Omega, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
All right, you got it.
All right. First of all, be one to everybody on the panel.
Black first, brother.
Um, yeah. Speaking to the prompt, man. There's no diaspora war. There never has been. There's us. FBA is over here checking the disrespect, and the diaspora basically fighting for their right to, you know what I'm saying, have that colonizer mindset. And I've heard you speak about this in one of your lives before, you know what I'm saying? But you are absolutely right, man. Like, if you look at the parallels between the way that they interact with us and the way that YT supremacy interacts with us, it's essentially the same thing. We looking at the same thing, it's just in blackface. And as far as the booty scratcher thing goes, it's a corny. It's a funny joke when you're a kid, but it sounds corny as hell because it's made up by kids. It's not something that we made up a brand new word and introduced that into FBA dialect. That's not what we did. It was a joke. Get over it. You know what I'm saying? The lack of accountability is, again, the parallel with YT supremacy, excuse me. But if you look at how YT, we on heard Tariq, you know what I'm saying, have callers, and these people won't take accountability for shit. They just won't. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you look at Diaspora, it's the same exact thing. It's like a mirror, you know what I'm saying? YT supremacy and blackface. And I'm tired of hearing the whole both sides argument. because that right there is like a tactic to disarm us. It's kind of like the whole word unity nowadays. It's becoming a slur because people are just throwing it around. And if a word can mean anything, it doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thoughts on that. Speaking to the prompt, man, and to your point earlier, accountability is how we self-correct, and people only want to self-correct when they want to correct the behavior, and we haven't seen that, so that tells you exactly what we're looking at.
Yeah,
I land my plane.
that's true. That's yeah. Notice, I want to get on this, and then we're gonna move on to the next couple of speakers. And I appreciate all of y'all patience. We got over 100,000 likes. We got a lot of people up in here. I appreciate y'all. We've been having a pretty good live. Let me say this about it's on both sides. It's on both sides. Do you guys know like a toxic person? Have you guys ever been with a toxic person that they do toxic things, or they say disrespectful things, they do disrespectful things or hurtful things, they do something wrong, and the only way they'll apologize to you is if you apologize? They'll apologize, and the only way they'll do that is if you also apologize. It's got to be a mutual thing where both of you guys, even if you didn't do nothing wrong and they're the ones who did it wrong, they're the ones who did something wrong, their apology is contingent upon you apologizing for something. So you got to find something to apologize for in order to get them to apologize. That's exactly how they do with us. That's how they do with us. Okay? They're the ones who we got all the receipts of them doing something wrong, and we gotta say, okay, well, we can apologize, but y'all gotta find something to apologize for too. What do we gotta apologize for? What do we do that we gotta apologize to y'all for? We got the receipts of y'all calling us Akata, calling us slave babies, calling us all everything but a child of God. We got we got receipts of y'all doing stuff. Don't get me started on all the political and economic stuff that they've been doing. Don't even, I'm just talking about the social stuff. Don't get me started on all the political and economic stuff that they've been doing. And then when we say, hey, y'all gotta apologize, they all like, well, yeah, but y'all gotta apologize for something too. What? No, we not doing that. No. Let's get to Ness.
What's up, my people?
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, brother?
It's going well, man. I'm just listening to conversation, man, and it's very disparaging to hear black folks coming at other black folks, um, fighting with each other when we still got this big bully that we fighting against. Um, and it's
Where you
disheartening,
from?
man.
Where you from? Where you from?
I'm
Like,
from
where's
America.
your lineage from?
From America. I'm from
Okay,
here.
okay.
U.S. descendant of chattel slavery or immigrant background?
I guess chattel slavery, if you want to call it.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Um, my thing is like we having a pissing contest with other black people to see who's the best, who makes the most money, who got the most land, and it's to me is this is like is something we do in school, man. It's like we grown, we got to find a way to make money with each other. I'd rather have conversations on how we could make money, how we could build, instead of be like, oh, you you from a poor country, you ain't got nothing. It's like everybody's insulting each other. Anybody that says that black people ain't got no culture, they wrong. But I don't listen to them folk. If they from Africa and they say that, guess what? There's 100 more videos of African people showing us love. If they from the Caribbean and they say that, they're wrong. But let's not act like black people here ain't also having point the fingers over there too. Like
You
we
see
haven't been saying
what I just
bad
said?
things.
What did I just say? If we admit that they
But you
wrong,
know
we got to
what?
be wrong too. We literally
Right, and
just
we're in
said
our
that.
homeland.
If they're
We're in
What
our
is the
wrong,
homeland.
truth?
if we admit that they're wrong, we have to be wrong too. They can't just take
What is the
accountability.
truth?
The
Hold on,
prompt
Ness.
is winning
Hold
in
on,
and
Ness.
of itself. They just it's never about them taking accountability. It's always, well, if they did something wrong, then we got to be wrong too. It's always that. And I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot of the people from your ilk, and I'm saying this with respect because you sound like an older gentleman. I'm saying this with respect, man to man. It's your people who, or not your people rather, but it's your demographic who has coddled them and allowed them to disrespect our lineage. You've allowed the problem to persist to this level where now this era of black people, of foundational black Americans, now we gotta put foot to gas, foot to the pedal, foot to the floor, I mean, okay, and overcorrect and correct the mistakes that you guys have been allowing to be made. You guys have been doing that by saying, "Oh well, you know what? We should all just get along and we should all just do this." You heard old girl talk about how we had smug families and we don't own anything and we don't have anything or anything like that, and yet you coming at us.
But she wrong for that.
No, yeah, no, you address us as being a problem before you address them. You
No,
slightly address
I
them and then
said
circle
if
back to us
anybody from
being the issue.
no, I said if anybody from Africa say that black people ain't got a
No,
culture, they
no,
wrong.
no, no.
And
I'm
everybody
That's
from
not
the
what we're
no.
Caribbean
talking
say that
about,
they're
It's
wrong. I
though.
said
not.
that first.
First off, the way you came off,
Culture is
I
different
said
than
that
what she
came
was
off,
alleging.
the way you came off was incorrect too. It's not
how?
black people because you said it was some type of pissing contest. This ain't no pissing contest. If you acknowledge and address a problematic behavior, that's not a pissing contest. I make more money than you, and you got more than me, and I'm better than you. I'm no.
This
This
is
is
what I've been
that.
hearing.
No, it's not what you've been selectively listening then, because it's not what we've been saying. We've been saying that they have been saying that to undermine us and to make us lazy. They have been coming over here talking about how we're lazy. Okay, they don't have
Yeah.
the complaint of
And the,
black. They don't have a complaint of foundational black Americans going to Africa calling them lazy, but we have complaints of them coming over here calling us lazy, calling us uneducated, saying that we rely too much on the government and we need to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. And then the second we say, you know what, hey, all of this disrespect that y'all been doing, all of this undermining that y'all been doing, we got to address that. And every single time it's time to address them, it's always, man, we got to stop and we got to all get along. Because to y'all, get along means us be quiet.
we
It
got to
doesn't
address
really
both
mean, hold
sides.
on, it doesn't really mean us all getting along. It means foundational black Americans shutting up. That's what that means.
You know what, Afro? Ness, I want you to hear this and hear this really good.
All right.
They have passed the cultural boundary in Philly and have started buying black churches and removing historical markers. There's a young lady here who goes with the elders because Philly elders are standing on business just to make sure that the elders are good. And the elders are fighting over there to get those historical markers back up. They're not buying it to preserve the churches. We would never think to do that to them. So I'm gonna tell you this to you and your little narrative that you want to run with there. We're in our homeland. We don't displace nobody in our homeland, right? We don't fly or flock or flee over there and displace the people, touch their cultural things that should be landmarks even. We don't touch their stuff. We don't get in
Wait, wait,
their
wait. You
government. We
talking
don't
about
vote
black
no to
people
no 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 no
or
no no no.
Americans?
We do not touch their government and vote no to incentives to repair and enrich their community. We just don't do that. We have built a first world nation equipped with civil rights that benefit the globe, and they're pushed into our areas. But guess what? Not only are there businesses here, so is their dirt and their crime, right? And their disrespect. So now we just doing a little straightening, a little cleaning up. If you ain't with it, stand on the sidelines. Root for who you want to root for, but you can't stop no show this way. Because they're disrespectful. That lady, we ain't even talking about a pissing contest. She disparaged us, said we was losing our homes and XYZ, and there's reasons for that. She want to
Oh, and
use our
she dead
history and
wrong.
don't even know the
No,
nuances to
Yes.
you
why we
came
were
off and
losing
you
homes.
blamed us first. You got
No, no,
on
no, 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 no,
us
no, no, no,
talking
no, no,
about we
no.
were doing a pissing contest and this isn't what we should be doing.
No,
And
I
then you
said we both doing a pissing
no,
contest.
okay,
Everybody's doing a pissing
no, okay.
contest.
Here's the
That's what
thing.
I
Here's the
said.
thing.
Don't be
It's no
selective.
both. It's not a both.
It
We
is
didn't
both.
start. No, it is not no both. We not doing no pissing contest with them.
And we had an interaction with Nuss before. So it's not both. We're in our homelands. We're in our homelands. These people were pushed into our community. Why didn't they get nothing shaken on them islands? Right? Why ain't getting nothing shaken on that continent? Right? So we're in our homeland. Ain't no both sides. You don't come to somebody's house and disrespect them. You need to go do some research on what them people are doing in our government to us. They practice group economics in our government, and guess what? They prove we ain't part of their groups. And that's been since the beginning of time. So ain't no pissing contest. This is us getting into action and preserving our culture, our history, and demanding our respect in our homeland, which we really shouldn't have to, right? But what do we expect? Everybody over there look like them, the majority, and those places are failing. Well, we ain't gonna fail here, right? And they could all go home if that's the case.
I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna move on because we've been here for a good
Oh,
minute.
so I can't finish my thought?
Hold on. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let you go ahead. We're gonna be fair. I'm gonna let you go ahead, but I want you. I want to say this, and then I want to hear what you have to say. It's your era, because I'm not gonna say your I don't know how old you are, so I'm not gonna say your generation necessarily, but it's your era who allowed, who allowed this quote unquote unity with no boundaries. There was no boundaries. There was no pushback to disrespect. And now that we're trying to establish boundaries, now you all are coming in being a defense for them. You guys are coming in and saying that we're doing too much and we're being problematic, that we're establishing boundaries of respect that you guys didn't establish. If you guys would have established some boundaries of respect from the beginning, we would not be here. But you guys didn't. You guys put them on a pedestal, made it seem like they were higher than thou. They were better. Okay, they have more culture and all of this. That is what happened. You pedestalized them and coddled them. And now we're dealing with the aftermaths of y'all mistake. And now we're saying, okay, now we need to get the gates put up and we need to establish boundaries. And y'all looking at us, calling us a problem. And the real problem is the fact that y'all didn't do what y'all should have been doing from day one. That's the real problem.
So we ain't do our jobs,
No,
right? That's what
no,
you're
you did
saying?
not. We wouldn't be having this
Okay.
conversation
All right.
then.
So let me tell you what I've seen growing up, right? Let me tell you what I've seen growing up. There's a school, Erasmus, in Brooklyn, right? If you was Haitian in that school, you was getting beat up because you was Haitian. And I thought that was so whack.
You was getting beat up by who? Who was you getting beat up by?
I wasn't getting beat up. I seen
No, no,
um,
I'm saying the Haitians were getting beat
Always
up
in
by
New
who?
York,
yes, yes,
nigga.
they was getting beat up by black
Always in New
Americans,
York, nigga.
being
Okay,
called
they was
Haitian.
getting
Always in
now
New
you
York,
know for
nigga.
a fact that the Haitians were only specifically getting beat up because they were Haitian by only
Yes,
black Americans.
yes, because they had a Haitian day where if you was Haitian, they was beating you up. I'm also
That's in
from
Brooklyn,
I'm
guys.
also I'm
I
also
ain't go
from
to
the
school with Haitians in
projects.
the Bronx
I'm also from
until
the
the late 80s.
projects.
Then
Okay,
it was only
let
one.
I'm also from the projects, and the older kids, I was 12 at the time, 16, 17. We used to hang out with my older cousins. They used to go around, look for a Haitian to beat up. And that's not cool. Me growing up now,
Them
I
lies.
ain't understand the
Gotta be
impact of it,
lying.
you know. So that was disrespectful on our part. But yes,
On your part,
you
your
do
friend's
have
part. Don't put
Caribbeans.
that on all
You do
Brooklyn
have
FBA.
okay,
Don't do it.
what I'm telling you what I've seen. I'm telling you what I've
okay.
seen. But I also
He ain't
that
credible, y'all.
the
He ain't
the
credible.
the Africans saying that oh black people are lazy, they don't work. They dead wrong for that. But at the same time, they believe what the white people tell them. Just like we believe what the white people told us about them, that they nothing but
That's a
poverty in
lie.
their
Say
hearts
you
and
believe.
all of
You
that.
believe. Because I was 14 when
Well,
I
how
didn't
could
believe.
there
Yo,
have
you got black people
possibly?
right now
How
that
could
think
there
that.
have? Let me ask you a question.
So many
Yeah.
How could there
costumes, we
have
don't know if they
possibly
black
been
American.
such a strong and potent Pan African movement in America if we believed all of the lies that the white man told us about Africa and the Caribbean? How were we wearing dashikis and kufis and even changing our names and having more Afrocentric names? How were we doing that if collectively we believed all of the lies and stereotypes about Africa that they were telling us?
You got black people today that still believe that Africa ain't nothing but
No,
about
no.
water.
I'm talking about collectively, not one or two people. Collectively, it was a thing where folks was getting the continent of Africa tattooed on them. There was Pan African flags. Folks even legally changed their names to have more Afrocentric names. They named their kids more Afrocentric names. All right. They
That's what's
had
up.
I'm saying that this is not
And
just in one or two places either.
and
Okay.
those are the
So
black
so
people that had their
no,
mind right.
that don't, sir, let me say this, because you guys keep trying to make it seem like there was some type of this intercultural disdain we had for Africa, which doesn't make sense because America has welcomed Pan-Africanism more than anywhere else in the world. And those two things can't exist at the same time.
Yes, it could, because I seen it happen. I seen black people wear dashikis and show love to Africans
And
and
then beat
other
up
Caribbean
Haitians.
people.
That's what you
And I
saw.
heard and I seen other black people beat up other ethnic groups that are black. I've seen it. And the same way we was wearing dashiki and all of that, you know what some people in Africa was doing? They was calling themselves Malcolm X. They was calling themselves Martin Luther King. They was calling and they was
Not
dressing
us.
like black Americans and they were showing love. So I don't focus on the one or two videos from African people talking negative about black people. I focus about all of the videos where African people show love. I focus on the videos where black people in America that live in Africa talk about the good experience over there, how good they have it over there, how much love they being shown, right? I focus on those videos. I don't focus on the couple ignorant people. You got
You
ignorant
know,
people
and
in
that's
all places.
respectfully, one grown man to another grown man. I'm saying this respect. I'm not gonna call you out your name or anything. That's the problem. That's the problem. The fact that you're saying, you know what, I'm gonna ignore, because what you're saying is I'm not gonna focus, which means ignore. I'm gonna ignore the problem and I'm just gonna focus on the good. Well, if you ignore the problem and you don't address the problem, then the problem is not going to fade away. The problem is only going to grow. The problem is only going to get worse. And now, this generation, in this era, now we have to solve the problem. If you guys say, okay, we can look at the good and we can look at the bad, and let's address the bad, but we can still look at the good too. You guys were all like, nope, we're only going to see the good and we're going to completely ignore and downplay the bad. Well, now the bad has gotten to this point where it was a small little leak. Now it's a flood. Now we got to deal with this flood of problems because when it was leaking, you guys wanted to ignore it. Now it's this huge issue now because you literally did what you just practiced. You practiced what you just said. I mean, all right. Let's ignore the problem. And it's not just one or two people. It's not. Let's ignore the problem and focus on all of the good stuff. Well, that's fine and dandy until the problem is so big, it's flooding the whole house now.
But I can say the same thing on your side.
No, you can't,
You
because
only
we're not
focusing on the
immigrating. No,
negative.
you cannot.
What's
Because
the
we're
One
not
positive
minute.
you
no,
focusing
you
on?
One
cannot.
minute,
What is
Ness.
the
Because
I
positive?
we are
want to
in
talk.
our
Wait, Ness. I
homeland.
want to
You
talk to
so by
Afronia.
definition you
But what
can't.
is the
Because
positive?
we're not immigrating over to their nations. We're not immigrating over to their countries and
Black
doing
people is
that.
everywhere. Black
Hold
Americans
on,
is
hold
everywhere.
on, hold on, hold on, Ness. I'm
DX.
gonna talk about this. So this a dedicated viewer in the chat. He never disparages FBA. He says Brooklyn. What was going on in Brooklyn is what Ness was describing. He also mentioned Florida though, and I pointed out it was the Jamaicans. So what it sounds like to me, Brooklyn was a rough area back in the days. But what it looks like to me was there was a mixed bag. There were some who were doing XYZ and some who were taking up for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know how to put that into context because it wasn't going on in the Bronx, right? I didn't even know a Haitian until 1989. So I don't know how to put that into context. It seems like a bunch of bullying was happening between the groups. Because in Florida, you had the Jamaicans bullying the Haitians, and these guys are telling me it was Black Americans in Brooklyn, but I'm not aware of that. But what I wonder, Afro, is why are we just hearing it? Out of all the things the Haitians could have said to us, they never mentioned a Haitian day until now. And I've been on this app for 2 years, going back and forth between the hip hop issue and the issue with the diaspora. So that's where I get a little shaky with, like, what is really going on? Because why we didn't hear that before?
And are we telling the full story too? Did Haitians not bully Black American children as well
Nah,
too?
nah.
Foundation Black?
There was too small in numbers. It
No.
was the Black Americans kids messing with them until they got deep. When they got deep, they ain't get deep to beat up the Black Americans. They got deep to basically say, "You ain't gonna mess with us no more." And after that, it was peace, basically. You know what I'm saying? But I seen it happen. But my thing
Okay,
is,
here's the thing: we can't prove what you have and have not seen, but we
somebody in
know
the
about.
chat proved. Somebody in the chat just backed up what I said.
Yeah, there's probably going to be somebody in the chat who can't. And then here's the thing: we can't prove that that's the case either. But what we can prove, I'm talking about what we can prove. We can prove that there was a Pan African movement in this country. That's something we can prove. That's something we have
Right.
evidence of.
And
Okay.
Staten Island has entered the chat, and they said they ain't never hear of a Haitian day either. They ain't never hear that BS before.
Man, we don't even consider Staten Island New
And then
York.
we just beat no, and then Black American kids just beat them for one single day. We just ran. We just started whooping on them, and then that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it happened. I mean, you had Haitian
But there
people
were, listen,
in New
Busta
York.
Rhymes. Hold on, because somebody just mentioned it was different Caribbeans and cosplaying came to mind, right? So Busta Rhymes did go to they and special ed, but special ed did let us know he was West Indian. So there were cosplaying going along around that time in Brooklyn. Buster is from Brooklyn, is he not? Special Ed
Yeah,
is
he's
from
from
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. He's from
And
Flatbush.
Brooklyn has a lot, depending on the area. And Erasmus Hall is down on Flatbush, right?
Yeah,
Because I
he's
used
from
to live on
Flatbush.
Flatbush.
Yeah.
That is Jamaica Central. And we do know Jamaicans cosplay us. They've been in this country for 100 years. So I'm not gonna put it all on my people because my family is also in Brooklyn, but East New York. When the East is in the house, oh my God, right? But they never mentioned a Haitian day. But the Jamaican area, the gentrified area, the same demographic of Caribbeans that bothered the Haitians in Florida is in the set. You know what I'm saying? How do we know these kids was really Black
That's
Americans?
the first thing I asked. I'm like, are you sure that the only kids who were bullying them were foundational Black Americans? Like, yes, definitely. What were the other Caribbean? Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this.
The
Did the
Jamaicans
other,
was
hold on,
getting
let me
the
ask you this.
Jamaicans was
Hold on. I
bullied.
just want to ask you this. If it was the Haitians that were getting picked on, what did the other Caribbean and African kids do? What were
I
they
mean,
doing while the Black American kids were picking on the Haitian kids? What were all of the other kids from the different countries doing? What were they all doing? What were the Jamaicans doing?
the Jamaicans,
Because they were
the
there.
Jamaic, yeah, the Jamaicans had their problems too because they
No,
used
I'm
to get beat
saying
up
if
too.
I'm no, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that the story is very iffy. Because you mean to tell me that the rest of the Caribbean children sat on the sidelines and watch Haitians just get beat up?
Some did, some laughed, some walked away. You know,
Sure.
kids are kids.
Read the comments, Afro. They saying the Caribbean were involved. Can you
That's my
comment yes
thing
or no
because
if
the
the Caribbean were
Caribbean, let's
involved
be
in
honest,
bullying the
there's a
Haitians?
lot of tribalism and conflict and beef among the Caribbean people. So it just makes more sense just from a historical and logical perspective that the beef actually is among the Caribbean. That's an
No, 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 no.
no, because that's
You
the
can't tell
only
me my
thing.
reality.
Thank
That's
you,
You
the
cannot tell
Tor.
me
only
my
thing
reality. You
that
was
So
there.
wait a
actually
minute, hold
makes
on.
sense, dude.
So
Because there's
somebody
no
who I
reason for
would
Black
take his
American
word
kids
on.
to be beefing with Haitians. There was no
So
reason.
The other Caribbean were involved in bullying Haitians. He says the Caribbean were involved. I said, can you comment if yes, they were bullying Haitians or no? And he said yes.
I'm sure.
So
So
the
I'm sure
Haitians
some
were the
joined.
demographic to get bullied.
Some joined, but guess what? Black American kids was making fun of the Jamaicans too.
Okay, well,
But
we're
guess
not going to
what?
sit up
Black
here
Americans
and
still
talk about
thought we
all of
were
your
all
anecdotal
black. So we were
experience.
just Jonesing on the other demographic. The same way we Jones on our cousins, right? Because my cousins kind of terrorized me. That's how I know how to fight. My ex-boyfriend
And,
said, how you learn how to fight so good? Because I had cousins that would really Jones on me or throw me across the room. And I was just, you know what I'm saying? We were roughhousing.
okay, and that's what I said. There's blame to put on both and every side. All
No,
right,
no,
Now,
no,
okay,
nobody's
so now
innocent.
no.
we're adults.
Nobody's
Let's
innocent.
bring this up to hold on. Now we're adults. We're living our natural lives. We understand that the Caribbean was harmed. We're telling CARICOM, get your money. But what we're not used to seeing that people are holding grudges from childhood and voting no to our reparations, telling the cops to unalive us, saying they're going to take away Black History Month and locking us out of things like home ownership and all this other stuff and locking us out of government. They cry over the immigrants and they try to get us to enrich Haiti, Caribbean, and Africa, but ain't nobody enriching the hood that their businesses is in. See how that works? So we're
Anybody
adults
from the
now.
Caribbean.
Hold on. We're adults now, and life goes on. And now we're finding out that some of the disdain that they held from us since forever, they're exhibiting it in our government. Speak to that, sir. Because that's childhood mess there.
But I'm sorry, can I just say
Yeah, I'm
this
gonna
one
No,
speak to
we're
thing?
that.
gonna we're gonna move on because
Wait,
we've been on
I
it.
can address her. I can address to what she said. Right? If
This has
anybody from
become
the
a back and forth
Caribbean,
conversation, and I can
if
tell this
if
is not ending no
if,
time soon. So,
if anybody from the Caribbean is in the government and is voting with anything that disparage Black Americans, they dead wrong for that. Right? But
Voting no is more than just disparaging Black Americans. It's more than name calling. They are denying us reparative justice for our ancestors,
now
sir.
you can't say they.
Brian,
You
hold
cannot
on,
say
hold on.
they.
Brian, yes, I can't say they because they have a collective mindset, okay? So here's the issue. Brian Donalds goes on a very well known radio broadcast, says, that he won't advocate for foundational Black Americans to give reparations because he's Jamaican and Panamanian and his mother won't give reparations. Yvette Clark, we see what she do, calling for more immigrants to the district in Brooklyn, right? She secured funding for Caribbean and Haitians and TPS, all this good stuff for them, right? We see what Winsome Sears says, all these people are telling us to get over our ancestors' enslavement in our own ancestral land, but they've never spoken against CARICOM, the agency fighting for the Caribbeans to have the same things that we're asking for. Reparative justice, sir. Speak to that. Because that's what we really be speaking about.
Okay,
Me
I'll
at
speak to
least.
that. I'll
no,
speak to
no,
that.
no, no,
And
because we gotta
No
wrap
more
stuff up.
speaking.
No,
I just wanted to
man,
leave it
that's
there.
enough. That's enough.
she
No,
told
that's
me
enough.
speak on that, and then you tell me no.
Because he's the
Yeah, because we
host.
gotta wrap stuff up.
Override
We
you.
gotta
He's
wrap
the
stuff
host.
up.
Okay,
He's
okay,
the
okay.
host. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution.
Let's get to hold on. I'm gonna let you go ahead, and I invited you up because you asked a
Sorry.
question in the chat room, so I'm gonna let you go ahead. What was your question? And then after that, we're gonna get to Sister Bridget.
Okay, my question personally, as a person that so I was born in Egypt and my parents left Egypt. I was 1 years old and they moved to US and we left like my parents left US, especially in DC. They left there. I was 6 years old because the bullying was too much as a South Sudanese person, like a very very dark skin. Probably the what you see in my own profile picture is just a filter. It's a little bit lighter, but you can see me in real life. I'm a little dark skin.
Dark
So
skinned girls are popping. You could make
no, no, no,
the
no, 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 no,
profile your
no.
regular
Hear,
complexion,
hear
ma'am.
me
We're
out.
not
Hear
going to
me out
bother you
first.
now.
No, sister, hear
Hmm.
me out first. I'm not blaming anybody, and I'm not here to say anything. But I'm just saying. So my parents were there in the USA. I have a cousins and I have an auntie that moved to USA since the 90s. She's the one that did our paper. She's the one that did our visa to be in the US. So when we were there, I was 6 years old in school, getting bullied. My brother was older than me. He was about 12 years old and everything so far. But my parents moved us to Australia. I'm in Australia right now. I'm being Australia now. I'm 27. So all I'm just saying, the fact that we still speaking about the bullying that happened when we were kids, because when you're in school, whatever happened in school, when you're a younger child or you're a kid or whatever it is, a bully
6
will
years
bully.
old.
Either you're whatever happened, the bully you get bullied. You have more money than the other person. Your lunchbox is better than the other person. You're this, and this is. There is a certain
Did you
thing that
speak
you get
English when
bullied.
you moved here? Did you speak English when you moved here? Your family were
Yes,
English
yes,
speakers?
very
Okay.
much. Because I
Okay,
left.
you're saying
Sorry.
that we what like what like what are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is the fact that we still have the conversation of talking about, oh, this person got bullied than the other person, this person got bullied than the other person, instead of actually holding ourselves collectively, because black
Okay.
Americans got
Stand here.
bullied
Wait,
as
wait.
well.
Hold there.
Hold on,
Hold up.
she's
Hold
almost
up.
done.
Hold up. Because
Give
they're
me,
the only ones
give me a
talking about
second,
being
mama.
bullied. Black
Just
Americans
please,
have been
I'm
Okay,
bullied.
gonna.
Wait, wait. Black
BX,
Americans are having a totally different conversation, Afro. Please notice. When we're holding them accountable for the adult things they do that go to childhood,
I know.
we're not
I'm trying.
still having conversations. They are.
Yeah,
They
I
need
know.
therapy. Okay, I'm a mute.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is just mostly collectively, all of us in the group, either the African or the Caribbean or the Black American, got bullied. And worst of the bullied was actually toward the Black American, because African got bullied for certain things. Caribbean got bullied for certain things, but Black American got bullied for things that are very, very hurtful that I can't even say it as a word for the TikTok because I'm actually gonna get dropped down. So I'm just saying, for us, instead of having conversation about, oh, this we got bullied, we got bullied, instead of us saying, okay, you know what, all of us, we had what we had our own share. This got bullied to this, and that person got bullied, and the certain of things. And okay, so what are we gonna do about it now? Since we all grown, can we talk about other things? How are we gonna fight being a Pan African? Yet we're still stuck on the past when we were young.
And
It makes
the
The
sense.
thing
diaspora,
is
that's
that
not diaspora.
being stuck on the past, honestly, it's not no real traumatizing thing. And I'm not trying to downplay bullying. I'm not trying to excuse bullying. I'm not justifying it. But it's not really no thing where people can't sleep at night because when they were 14 years old, they got told that they were an African boot. Nobody's really doing that for real. The conversation of being quote unquote bullied, if it did or didn't happen, is only ever brought up when we say, hey, we gotta take or we got to hold you guys accountable. There needs to be accountability for the adults of today's generation, adults of today's era, adults today. There needs to be some level of accountability for the behaviors of adults today. Then we go back to middle school, people getting made fun of and people getting bullied. That's the only time you ever hear about it because it's really not no big deal. It's really not. And this isn't to justify it, but it is not. It's not no big deal. And the thing is that the diaspora keeps weaponizing this alleged bullying that they went through so they can have some level of a shield or justification for their problematic behavior today.
That's what I'm saying. Because me personally, right now, if we're trying to take a blame card, I would be here and be like, oh, you know what? We South Sudanese got bullied because we dark skin and this and this and this. But no, I'm not trying to do that. All I'm just saying, instead of sitting here and trying to put aside on that circle bullying side and put it, oh, you know what? Because it's small. And then we're trying to move to the bigger picture instead of saying, oh, okay, you know what? All of us and collectively, we had our own share of bullying. Caribbean joined Black American to bully African, and African did actually went overboard to go and bully Black American. They say, okay, you know what? Since you guys are blaming us, oh, since you guys are bullying us, we're gonna go overboard. And then even nowadays, right now, if an American or Black American say something to an African person, you always hear an African person gonna be like, oh, you know what, the cotton descendants, this, which is sometimes when I look at this, I feel ashamed as African because why are you actually going overboard to say such a thing? I'm an East African. I have nothing to do with West African. But in the same time, when we're speaking in African, as an African, why would you go over the level to call a black American something descendants. That's not how you even supposed to represent yourself. Because later on, when somebody call you and then ask you where you from, and you say I'm African, they're gonna say African collectively. They're not just gonna call you West African, East African, or North African, or whatever it is. They're just gonna call you an African. So what I'm just saying, instead of us sitting down as an adult right now, okay, all of us we adult, okay, we acknowledge that all of us we were bullied, Black American, African, Caribbean, even though Caribbean joined the hand with the Black American, bullied African, it's still not, because Black American call us a Buddhist culture. You have Caribbean, they start telling us, oh, you guys drinking monkey soup, eating monkey soup. That's not a problem. Me, I know myself, we don't eat that. So why are you holding it inside you, knowing yourself that you do not do such a thing? Why even holding it inside? Or why you still stuck in that era? Or why you even saying, oh, you know what, we can't do this, oh, Black American like this, oh, Caribbean like this. Okay, why don't you, since you want to be a brother with the other black person, why don't you say, okay, you know what, we're gonna leave this aside. Let's look at the other bigger picture. Why are we stuck in this particular era? That's all I'm just saying. No more than that. Just gonna be my back. I'm probably gonna listen. If there is something else I would say no, that's no problem.
Yeah. The only reason is because they want to dodge accountability. That's the reason. That's the reason is they want to dodge accountability. That's the reason they bring it up. That's the only reason, because they don't ever bring it up any other time. The only time they bring it up is when we try to hold them accountable, and then they talk about some bullying. Okay. Now
You know
let's
what,
get to.
Afro?
Hold on.
They weren't bullied enough not to put their businesses in our areas without bulletproof glass,
Mm.
right? They ain't bullied. They didn't feel bullied enough not to take our money. You know, I can't. I can't. I can't. But I would love for us to get past this. I would love for them. 1 minute, G's.
Okay, sorry.
I would love for them to get past it when we having these discussions, because that was the art of deflection by Ness.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Whatever, Benji.
last thing I just want to say, for me to speak the way that I'm saying what I'm saying is not coming from me personally, but being in the USA, it was too much that I lost one of my favorite cousin through the bullying.
Oh,
The
my
person actually
condolences.
committed suicide. So that's why I'm just saying, because this is not supposed to be the topic until today. Opening a TikTok and then seeing this kind of conversation. Because I lost my cousin through the bully. And he's a South Sudanese as well.
Oh,
Just because of his
dang.
dark skin.
Well, my condolences about your cousin. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right. Now let's get to Sister Bridget.
Hi Afro, how are you? This is my first time on your live, and I don't know, I just got to be honest. I've been shaking, my heart's been pounding because when I hear the sound of their voice, it just disturbs me. And I hear about all this bullying and crybaby stuff when I was a child and this and that and all this other stuff. And I just want to fast forward to today and what the prompt says about the Diaspora. And I just began to learn this word a year ago. And the first thing I thought when I found out what the Diaspora means, I was like, oh my God, we're going to get into this African shit again. You know, like back when Jesse Jackson with the whole African American thing. And I'm going to tell you something. I am an older woman and I have never known any decent Haitian in my life. And I've known a few. They're adulterers, thieves, murderers. And I'm going to tell you something.
Wow.
Man, my God, I do not like these people. I need very serious therapy. And I pray to have God to change my heart. They come into our neighborhoods and urinate in the street, right there in the middle of the street. They get involved in thievery and scamming so bad. They even got my son up involved in with their shenanigans. And all of the Haitians that I've ever known did FBI time in prison. And I've known them when they were little boys living on the next block. I've never known one decent Haitian. Never. And I lived in Miami for 27 years. And they just ruined the neighborhoods, ruined them. And when I hear this this young man, this man up here, old man or whatever he is, talk about how he was bullied as a child by African Americans and all this other nonsense in New York. And that's just not true. 'Cause I went to PS 16 for a year in New York, and I lived on 29th and 3rd. And I didn't even know any Haitians, but the point I'm trying to make is when these Africans and these foreigners and immigrants start talking and complaining about what our attitude is and we need to apologize, they don't understand and they will not understand and they will not apologize that you came into someone's home that you were invited in and you ruined it. Very disrespectful. Your mouths run like diarrhea. You never contributed anything, any finances to anything to prop up Black Americans. You took and take everything that you see. You take all you can all you get. That's all I've ever known you all to ever be about. And I want this delineation so bad. I just start to shaking and my heart just starts pounding. It's like, when is she gonna shut her fucking mouth with that stupid accent that you've been around here for so many years and still can't speak English? And that man, he just disgusts me with what he was talking about, calling us bullies. That man before, that young lady before, when she said, oh yeah, well, Nigerians, they were getting their game on and they were, that was their hustle, scamming. And it's like she was glorifying that Nigerians were people that were thieving and taking people's life savings and just taking and robbing and scamming. That man, Hush Puppy, he was famous for being like the biggest scammer and breaking the internet, 300 phones, people working for him on love scams, calling people up and telling them that they're in love with them and getting women and men to write checks and things like that. You people are disgusting. And you came into our country, into our home, and you just robbed us and treated us after we treated you so kindly and fought for you to be over here. And now you're going to tell us where we're from, what we did to you, and you won't take accountability and you say we need to apologize to you or we both were wrong. No, you were wrong. You're in my home, in a country that my grandparents built, that were here before Africans were ever even heard of. I need therapy. I know I have a problem. I need therapy because I'm disgusted with you race of people. And then you want to climb up onto us and leech onto us and say that you're one of us. No, you are not. So what? I'm a slave baby. Perfect. I'd rather be that than a person that would scheme and scam and take everything that they can get their eyes and hands on from people that have been so kind and merciful to them. And I want you people out.
I want to
Thank
say,
you, Sister.
I want to add to this, and I want to say, first off, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we have new people who are here, and I want people to feel comfortable expressing themselves because this is the first way of things getting better. This is the first way of things getting better, and we do listen to people's story and we listen to people's things. And I want to say that this is the ultimate goal for this live and for my platform and for what we do is to solve problems. All right. And to develop a culture where tomorrow is better than today. Okay. And then the next day after that is better than the next day after that. So that's the entire reason that we're here. And I understand your pain, and I hear a lot of people say that. I hear a lot of people who are upset and frustrated. And this is why we have to have this conversation, because there is a lot of hurt, and there is a lot of frustration, and there is a lot of pain. All right. And I want us to get to a point where there isn't that anymore. And in order for us to do that, we have to have the tough conversations about it. All right. And we have to hear people out. We have to listen to their stories. All right. So I'm glad that you were able to express that. But and I'm not even going to say but I'm going to say and thank you for that. I also to add on to that, I also want to say this: the entirety of people in the diaspora, the entirety of people in the world have different experiences. Together, though, if we can have a sense of maturity and a sense of honesty and forthcomingness, we can realize that that by speaking truth to power, we can make tomorrow better than today. All right. This isn't to cast anybody aside just because they were born a certain in anywhere in the world, because you cannot control where you were born. I have no control over who my mother was, just like nobody in this panel, nobody in this world has any control over who their mother was, over who their father was, or what country they were born in. And nobody should be judged because of what country they were born in. Nobody should be judged by what parents they have. That has nothing to do with them, nor are they wrong for that. People are wrong for the decisions that they make. And we need to get to a point where we address the decisions that people make. All right. So I know where you admitted that, that it is a lot of hurt, and it's let's speak on that. Let's speak on that so we can get to the next step of making things better for the next time. All right. Because it's the whole
But they don't try to
crux.
change. They don't take accountability.
Yeah, and that's true, but a lot of them don't. I do, because I don't want the message to get confused. And that's what I'm saying. I don't want the message to get confused, not with Haitians, not with anybody else. Is
The
that
same people that went to prison for scamming and robbing, when they got out, they started back doing the same thing all over again. They don't learn, they don't listen. And they teach other people to do the same thing for decades.
But also,
and
Afro,
this is and this is to and nobody is excusing illegitimate behavior. Nobody is excusing that. I'm definitely not excusing that to any degree whatsoever. I just don't want the narrative to get out that we're prejudiced to any group of people.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
okay, I understand. I
You
understand.
know.
I'm just talking about their culture and what they teach their children to do. And then their children make
Hmm.
excuses about, or I was bullied and all this other stuff. So if you were bullied as a child, you grow up to become a bigger bully by robbing, unaliving, and stealing. That's your answer. And that's my thing, is like, okay, that's your culture then. So if that's your answer to being bullied, is to grow up to become a bigger bully, and then begin to tell the young man last night that was on Tyreek's show. He was 18 years old. This young man was talking to grown men. Oh, you all don't know who you are. You don't know about you're African. Oh, that's not true. And just being very disrespectful to grown Black American men about who they were, where they live, and all about their country, which is right here in America. And he was only 18. So who's teaching him that? His parents, his culture, his people are teaching him to talk over adult men and be disrespectful and tell them about their heritage, their life, their country, where they came from, and all this other stuff. It's like, man, you people need to get a grip on your culture with your children, because you're raising a bunch of bullies and monsters.
can I say
You,
something?
you know what?
And the
1 minute,
nuance,
G.
the nuance to that is that there is correction. There's criticism, just justified criticism, and there is correction where correction is needed. Hold on, let me see something. Hold on, let me see something. Sorry, this can't happen now. Okay, let me just block your dumb ass. Hold on.
Who, I'm gonna say this. You see how they all have that scratcher story, that bully
Okay.
story, and they
No.
want us to accept it. But when we tell them, all our grandparents said that we were indigenous, or we
Mhm.
had an indigenous ancestor, they tell us we lie and we hate ourselves. See how that works?
Yes,
African.
and yeah, I get that. Okay, and I'm trying to be as reasonable and understanding as possible. Okay, but as far as the movement is concerned, we do have to have a sense of maturity to understand that there's a nuance between correcting things that need to be corrected while maintaining not being prejudiced. And I'm not saying that you're prejudiced, but I don't want the narrative to get out that we should be that way or that we condone that. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of people who will take snapshots and screenshots of this, and then they will label foundational Black American something, or they will label the movement something, and that will actually be counterproductive. And
Well, I've
and,
admitted to
and
being
they will
having a
take certain
problem that
things.
I have a
They
problem with that. That I need
I
therapy,
know
that
what
my
you're saying.
mental is not correct.
I
I'm
know what
wrong.
you're saying. I know what you're saying. I just know how people operate. So I know
Right.
that there needs to be wait the opposition, I mean. I know that there needs to be things that are being more carefully said. Okay?
Yes,
Hold
sir.
on, let me see.
Well, I know that I'm
Be
wrong.
African now.
It's
Okay,
just
you know
that I
what?
just need for something
And
to
here's
get
the thing.
better. It's not, they're not making it any better.
So for everybody saying now I guess for everybody, I want you guys to come up, because if you guys are saying I'm Pan African for saying that we should not be prejudiced, I want you to come up and ask me that.
But can I just say
Because
last thing?
is
Because
that
I have a
hold on. I want us to understand
oh,
where the movement is, because y'all sounding like ops, honestly. You guys are actually sounding like COINTELPRO, to be very honest, in the chat room. Because you sound like you guys are there to put a stain on the movement. Honestly. That's the same thing that they used to do in the Black Panther Party. They used to put a radical extremist in the movement to make the movement look bad, to make the Black Panther Party look bad. That's exactly how y'all sounding. Because all I'm saying is not being prejudiced, which is something bad. Do y'all not think being, and I'm not saying you, ma'am, I'm talking about some people in the chat room. Do
Oh,
you
it wasn't
guys
always
not
like
think,
this.
I,
Mr. Afro, it wasn't always like this.
yeah,
When Jesse Jackson said that we were African American, I had my fist raised up and I was like, "Yeah, I'm African American." And when I got down south, my grandfather said, "You ain't no freaking African," and blah 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 blah. And I had to learn that just because you might have even an ancestor or some DNA or whatever of African blood or African descent or whatever, in the boats and slavery and all that other stuff, doesn't mean that you're African,
yep,
you
okay,
know?
so you know what? Thank you. I'm going to say this actually, and then we're going to wrap things up, because I've been saying that for the last like 20 minutes now. Okay? This is so we can heal things. I got a whole panel talking about the lack of accountability, because I am a problem solver. Some people just like to argue. I'm not the type of person who just likes to argue, because argumentative people don't solve anything. They don't accomplish anything. Argumentative people are just losers who are mad at the world and mad at their own failures and mad that they will never be anything in life. Okay? I'm not that. BX isn't that. We are not that. We come together and we host lives and we host rooms because this is the step of solving the problem and maybe making things better for the next generation after us. Not to let something off our chest, not to yell at nobody, not to be bigger than nobody else, but to actually, so maybe when the next generation comes up after me, the world will be better because of the work we've done here. And if you guys aren't about that, then you guys could be someplace else where they're yelling and cussing each other out. Okay?
okay.
But let's
Can I say
be
the last
honest. The
thing?
reason why I'm tough on people is because people have been lying. People have been hiding the truth. People have been refusing to address the elephant in the room. And this is what I'm doing. I'm addressing the elephant in the room. The elephant is that the diaspora lacks accountability. They lack accountability, okay? Which is why they get so colonized, why they're so easy to be colonized, why they're so on the take, why they're so easy to become vessels for white supremacy and puppets for white supremacy, which is why foundational Black Americans have collectively rejected the idea of unity, because we cannot unify with someone who does not have a code of conduct. But does that make me xenophobic? No, it does not. Does that make me prejudiced? No, it does not. Does that make me hateful? No, it does not. That makes me logical, and I am logically able to analyze the problem.
Yep.
Okay,
I want to
Okay,
say
but
so
we gotta wrap
permanently.
things up. I'm gonna let BX go ahead. I know you got some things, but it's past 1 o'clock where I am, so we're
Yeah,
gonna have to wrap
and
things
we're
up.
not going to send to you know.
my
So here's the issue for me. Black Americans, if nobody else understands COINTELPRO, saboteurs, provocateurs, and what happens when they start naming you a HATE group, then I don't know what to tell you because we should understand this. It happened to us on our land the most, right?
Hmm.
I told y'all when I had my first Discord, and there's new people here. So if there's older people here just watching and listening, remember when BX would be like, I ain't fucking with her. This one sound like an agent. I had my own Discord. I took everything off the app, and we do basic things. There's a code of conduct for us. And I even said that sending people in FBA spaces and to listen to us. We got to be careful. And sure enough, I was proven right when the letter came out, and we had to send it to get it examined. And everybody nowadays says, they send these people to sit around FBA spaces and stuff. So we know all these things. Why are we up here being extremists? We can have extreme thoughts, but it's what you express and what they can latch onto us, people. So FOD is not wrong when he says, be mindful, regulate yourselves and stuff. We're not. That doesn't make us Pan African. That makes us moving smart. Who wants Afro Lee and me gone or out of the mix, right? Before we really dig in deep in this movement, because some of y'all are still saying when we delineate, but I'm delineated. I'm delineated, and some of y'all are talking about when we unify. Well, let us do the work our way. We're doing a good job. Don't tank us. So I got to back Afro up with we got to be mindful with what we say because we know what happens when they label you a hate group. They have people coming around us now on social media. Social media activism is a thing, guys. That's why my name is the gatekeeper. And the veteran, I'm calling them the vets of TikTok who sit around me, understand my sense of discernment is very good. And that's why I get mad when people play in our face. It's no hope for them. So it's time to move on. And I'm very restrained. But what do I say? When do these things become fighting words? But even that is problematic. So I try to curb that. All we're asking you to do is curb what you say and how you say it so you don't tank the whole movement. They're already calling us a cult. They're already calling us a hate group. They're already calling us divisive. And all we're doing is defending ourselves. I get it. I get it. It's frustrating the things that they say, but let's keep this going.
If
Right? The movement
there's
going without being labeled a hate group and giving credence to it. Because we got proof of the things they've done to us. Don't give
Yes,
them the proof to tank us.
yes, that's
Yeah.
it. The image of the movement is going to determine if the movement survives or not. Okay, let me repeat that. The image of the movement is going to determine whether it survives or not. That's what it is. You can go look up cases of the Black Panther Party, okay, where Huey Newton kept consistently saying that they're not violent because the media kept trying to point them out to be violent, okay, where Fred Hampton consistently kept saying that they're not violent because the media kept making them out to be violent. So we have to make sure that we are selective and careful. And not just because of the image, because of where we ultimately want to go. We have to think about what world do we want our kids to live in? Where do we want to go for ourselves?
Hey, can I come in?
One moment, Ness, one moment. So FBA isn't the movement, it's an ethnonym. Our movement is delineation. Delineation is simply group economics by another name, and all ethnic groups do it. The Asians, the small hats, the natives, the Latinos. Everybody does it. The Caribbeans, the melanated Caribbeans, you know what I'm saying? The Africans, all these people practice delineation. That is our movement. It's just that we're loud and vocal. So now, because they won't benefit if we remain silent and don't practice group economics, they get the double and triple dip, right? So they're fine when they get to double and triple dip because they already delineated Caribbean caucus, Haitian caucus, African immigrant caucus, Jamaican Chamber of Commerce, Haitian Chamber of Commerce. All these things they have specifically for them based off of their immigrant status and their lineage. So FBA is our lineage and it's also a resistance to our government telling them they can't reclassify us anymore. Or we wouldn't have wound up with African American if we had a say. So this is just our ethnonym, but delineation is the movement. So let's not get it twisted. And FBA is not a hate group. We're just tired and frustrated of the disrespect from the diaspora and the lack of accountability. And frustration comes out in different ways. So we're telling you how to maintain decorum by expressing your frustration, or delineation gets tanked. Thank you.
We can't, and this is something that I'm going to stop doing. Not that I was really doing it before, to be very honest, but I can't allow people who literally just want, let's be honest, because there's hundreds of you guys in this room now, and a lot of us want a better future, but some people just want to be entertained. Some people are here because it's just fun to see people argue, to see people go back and forth. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I think this is working. I'm here because I think this is actually going to change things. All right. And these people who want entertainment, they just want to see people argue. And they will gaslight and they will stir the pot and instigate things just to see an argument. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to argue endlessly. We're here to actually make things better. And we got to be careful with the people who are here just for entertainment. And we also have to be careful for the people who might be agents who are sent here, okay, to instigate things the same way they did in the Black Panther Party. We got to be careful. This is a very tricky time in the movement. So we got to be careful. But thank you, brother. Thank you, family. BX, can you close us out?
Yes. So I gotta ask you, Afro Lee, when are you coming back live on TikTok?
I might be able to come back live tomorrow. I want to say tomorrow.
Okay, I don't think I have anything pressing to do tomorrow. It's 2:22, so 222. Ashe, everyone. So I want to say this: the diaspora, WARS, is really not a WARS. It's just a reaction of Black Americans to the diaspora and asserting the distinction in our own homeland. This is our homeland. And we're being disrespected on our homeland. And the diaspora or diasporans wouldn't allow that if we went to and flooded out their areas. So that's all. It's a matter of respect. We're just demanding our respect. And I'm going to just say this: peace, love, and light to my foundational Black Americans. I love us for real. Good night, y'all. Tariq is live, Afro.
Yeah, yes. Make sure you guys go to For the Culture so you guys can listen to the playback. This has been a good one. Go to For the Culture so you guys can listen to the playback. With that being said, good night, family.